Them niggas shrink around you, man. You know what I'm saying? They just in the space probably before you was a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But them niggas shrink when you come around. That's why them niggas don't want you around.
Situation with the genders and all of that shit that we've been hearing about. And there's nobody better than the gore. Philosophical to come set that bitch off.
Yo, you know the game.
Hold on a second. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? I don't think y'all understand how much BS I be going through with this damn technology, bro. Ronan, what up? What up?
I'm good. What's going on with you, man?
Man, listen, bro. I tested this earlier with my bro. He said everything was fine. I can hear you. I start the live, nobody can hear me. It's
happens.
crazy, man.
It happens, man.
Man, it's happening a little too much. I'm sick of this shit. I'm trying to use the technology. Let me get rid of this echo.
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me? Hold up.
Yeah, we can hear you.
1 1. All right,
It's better.
y'all can hear me?
Still a little echo, but that's cool.
It's funny now when it's hooked to the computer, it don't work. But now I got it to my phone. Like, this shit is crazy, bro. I'm just turning this shit off.
Yeah, you gotta do a diagnosis this
The
weekend.
roadcaster is pissing me off, man. I'm trying to work with my mic.
Yeah.
It's not seeming to show me no love. I don't know what's going on, but I still hear it. Fuck,
Try the pop filter.
I done turned the roadcaster off, so I don't even know why it's still echoing now. I don't even. I'm gonna refresh. I'm about to refresh it.
Are you good? Proud of your progress, man.
Man, I'm trying, bro.
Yeah, it's a little rough out here.
It's real rough. Real rough, man. I can't even go live without no problems. Y'all can hear me now? The echo going? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I was trying to do it on my work computer because my Mac is a trip.
Mm-hmm.
I did some diagnostics, getting ran with that today, and it was still tripping. So it just, the devil is busy, y'all. The devil is busy. But Ronan, what's going on, man? How you been, bro? How's everything?
I'm good, man. Just started thinking my first day of winter break. The home stretch for graduation is here.
Okay.
Yeah,
but we gonna get into it. As y'all can see the title of the show, it's starting to feel like not all, but a lot of our sisters seem to be the face of hate, man. I'm not saying, hate as in, they trying to kill people. They not neo-Nazi fascists. We're not talking about that. I'm using the word hate facetiously.
Yeah.
I'm being a little dramatic with it a little bit, but it just seems like whenever they're not pedestalized or whenever someone has the nerve to show love to the brothers, it's a lot of hate. You know what I'm saying? It seems like a lot of hate. And it doesn't seem like it makes any sense. Especially with the girl Kaya, then you got Caitlyn Clark, and you start listening to their conversations and why they don't. It's like y'all, it's just whoever's not pedestalizing y'all, they hate you, and it's just not a fair analysis. I don't think it makes sense. I got a couple clips I want to do a little quick, something different this time. It's like before we get into the show, I just want to do a quick little reaction to these random clips on Instagram I've seen.
All right.
And we're gonna start with this one. What comes?
Harder. It's harder. Oh, yes, keep going. Don't stop. Keep going, please. Oh my God, that was cute.
So she seemed to like it. When you see that clip, what comes to your mind? We hear so many women say, they're not really into that type of abuse. They only like, how do you feel about that? Is that normal? Is that something that you've seen before, Ronan? Is it that normal to you, or do you think it's abnormal?
Depends on the chick. I've seen quite a bit of it. Definitely the choking part. I don't know about the slapping shit. That's like my
slapping is new.
That's new. But the choking shit, yeah, I've done it.
I thought that was interesting because so many people, like I be on different shows and they always talk about, women are not protected. It's like, a lot of women are protected, but a lot of stuff y'all say y'all don't like, you really do. You know what I'm saying? So that's a random clip I seen. I thought that was interesting how, they say they don't like getting hit. They say they don't like getting touched, but they put it out there. A lot of the times that they say one thing is always something different. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was a funny clip somebody sent me. Here's another one.
All right, this is 3 lies that all girls tell. I'm finna put y'all on game. Number 1, body count. Most likely she gonna say 3 or 6 or maybe even 200. Any number that she tell you, add a 0 behind it. If she tell you any low number, she's a bop, I promise you. You just need to make sure you do the math correctly. She said she only got 3 bodies, but she been on this earth for 18 years. Plus, some ain't adding up. I'll just be real with y'all. We will never reveal our true body counts. We will always say a number less than 10. It's up to you if you want to be a dummy. Number 2, if she says she doesn't party that much, I promise you that girl is lying through her teeth. She wants you to think that she's this sweet, innocent homebody. No, she's the one standing on the tables, letting people pour Hennessy down her mouth. They call her the deep throat demon. She gets down. She don't play. She be outside. Her middle name is Outside. Number 3, and it's the one you really gotta watch out for. If she say, that's just my brother, I promise you that's code word for he wanna hit, I just ain't let him yet. Or he already hit and we just didn't work out. That is not her brother. They do not have the same mom and dad. You think her brother will be giving her hugs from the back? Listening to her complain about you? Buying her food and flowers when she's upset? That's the guy she really wants. He just probably friend zoned.
Now, do you think it's some truth to what she's saying?
Hell yeah.
Because I tell cats a lot of times, you see me on shows with, the body count conversation is such a big conversation. And I feel like I don't even want to know. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's relevant. I don't think I need to ask that question. Like I like to say, I'm gonna see how you deal with me. That's gonna show me everything. How you deal with me personally, because who you was dealing with before and what type of men you were dealing with before, to me, is more important than the amount. Because I just think in such a highly sexualized era that it's impossible to really hold somebody to that standard. It's like this. I don't want to know. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. The thing is, I look at personnel and proximity. Like who you dealt with. If I'm looking at they're a bunch of old crunchy foot bastards, like, yeah, I'm good. You show me your worth. But proximity, if I know them dudes and if I know how they get down, that tells me a whole lot. Because I get to see both sides of the story. So like, yeah, I'm cool. So that body count thing, you ask for trouble because she can make up any kind of number and you don't want them conversations.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I got one more clip before we get into this show.
A lot of you pretty girls will never get married. You will have many boyfriends throughout your life, but never get a husband. Do you know why? Because of your attitude and lack of respect. If you are thinking, oh, I have attitude and I'm not respectful, how do I get boyfriends? Well, let me burst your bubbles. Boyfriends are only there for one thing. They enter it and then they go. At the same time, a husband wants a respectful wife. So if you are single and you are the prettiest girl you know, and you think every other girl is unattractive, and yet these unattractive girls are married and you are not, well, girlfriend, chances are those unattractive girls have better attitudes and are respectful, and you are not.
I like to say that the new dime is like the 6s and 7s. Not to say that they're unattractive, but I think sometimes when we chase after this certain the quote unquote baddie, I think in today's time, it takes a lot of maturity and a lot of understanding for a woman who has that type of appeal to really humble herself to really be a good mate. I think a lot of men chasing after that particular look, that particular style, the BBL body, the lashes, the Instagram model. I think it's really a dice roll because there's really no incentive outside of their own personal development for them to really become a mature woman and become a more workable woman. How you feel about that?
You're definitely right. It's like when the more prettier she is, you got to deal with more insecurities. Some of them not housebroken. Some of them, like when you go to her house, I always make sure to check her medicine cabinet, checking her kitchen, her microwave. Some things out of order. That tells me a whole lot. So it's just like too many guys are looking for a trophy rather than a chick who's an asset. And a chick who's an asset, not only can she reflect your taste physically, but you can sit there and dialogue with her and build with her rather than just have a chick you got to chase around, or you take her in public and give her a coloring book so she can shut up. So
absolutely. And like I said, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and people would get so tired of these conversations, but it's like, it's not about trying to talk about beat something to the dead horse. We just trying to put people up on game what we're really dealing with. I think men don't feel like, we feel like our side hasn't really been understood. And a lot of women just give us examples to validate points we've made in the past. And it's like, this is what we're talking about. This is the mentality we're talking about. We're not trying to bash sisters or say, oh, get away from them. I still love sisters. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they always love us back, but I still love them. Regardless of what I went through with them, I still have a deep connection and an affinity and a fondness for Black women. But sometimes they have certain mindsets that make it hard to connect with. And then when I talk to women, talk to you, they're like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. So it's like, we're going to show you certain examples of what we're talking about, because your circle may not be exposed to it, or you might grow up a certain way. We didn't see those type of women, but a lot of them out here. But first, shout out to the chat. Shout out to Sean Bolden in the building. Got Pisces Hayes in the building. We got Skunk Pack. We got TWI administration. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Smee's Corner. Shout out to Something to Think About, L. Nix. Thank you for everybody pulling up. The brother said, what does this speak to, though? What is at the root?
Does the experience lived shape perspective? I think I'm trying to mess around with that. I think what it speaks to is a shared level of insecurity, a shared level of bruised egos, and not, for the most part, not intentional. But when you see some women doing what some other women refuse to do, then they'll try to basically, I guess, flood the market with goofiness to basically hide themselves within that chaos. And at the root, a lot of women weren't taught anything, or if they were, they didn't see the benefit of it, trying to keep a dude who wasn't worth, messing around.
Sorry, somebody called me. Y'all can hear me now?
Yeah, we good.
Yeah. This is what happens when you got friends that don't pay attention to what you be saying. They just call you at random times. They don't know what you're doing in real life. They just not paying attention. They don't know what the hell they doing. I'm live. I can't talk.
Yeah.
People are funny. Oh, yeah. So back to the brother.
Yeah.
He said, what does this speak to, though? What is at the root? Does the experience live shape perspective? Yeah, and oftentimes it can, but I think what's at the root is just social engineering. I think our women been socially engineered to be turned off by masculinity and objectivity. And whenever a man is going outside of a passive way of communicating, they seem to be prone to demonize that man. And they always look for someone who's willing to pedestalize them. So if you don't pedestalize a woman, you're considered misogynistic, you're considered bad. I think that's at the root of it, is just social engineering. And our women have been a lot of time, not a lot of women, but a lot of our women are so locked into mainstream culture that's how they shape their reality. So first, I want to get into this Caitlyn Clark situation. First, Ronan, what's your opinion on the comparison of Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese? Do you think she's unfairly favored as opposed to Angel Reese? Do you think it's a matter of race? Do you think it's a matter of she's a better athlete? Or is it a matter of both, or nothing altogether? Like, what's your opinion on that situation?
I would say it's a matter of both, but it seems like Caitlyn Clark's more focused, more honed into her skills, rather than with Angel just out doing extra shit. Because really, when it comes to the court, I don't see too much of an improvement, personally. And I watch some WNBA games, so I was expecting her to do like double doubles and really just, bogart her way to the league, but she's too busy, doing photo ops or whatnot. And Caitlyn, she's in there. She's just the latest sensation, shooting threes and whatnot. I mean, that's going to be what's going to be. But really, it's a lack of professionalism that I see here.
Exactly. And that's what I thought. I feel like people making that unfair comparison to her as far as she's getting favoritism. It's like I really try to unpack that. And it's like, are they just leaning towards her because of her race or because of what she represents? Because let's be honest. Most of these big time corporations, they're owned by white men.
Yeah.
Most of them are conservative, at least on the surface. They're conservative, they're Christian, right wing. So who kind of fits their lifestyle that they want their children to follow? Is it an Angel Reese or is it a Caitlyn Clark? Why wouldn't they put their dollars behind someone that looks like them from their community with their perspective? I don't think that's a matter of hate. I feel like we're so focused. Why wouldn't white people invest in a white girl from their community? Like, why does that have to be a slight to Black women? You know what I'm saying? A lot of the black women in the WNBA, they can be very masculine. You know, a lot of them, I've even read stories about how they bully women who are heterosexual. You know what I mean? So they have a certain masculine butch energy. That may not be the most conducive investment for these type of investors. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being, I mean, am I tripping?
You're not tripping, just
I'm
when you put it like masculine butch.
Why
like,
would they invest in that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why would they invest in a Caitlyn Clark as opposed to that? You know, so it's certain clips I've seen around the league, like Cheryl Swoops and them, and they were just saying some stuff that I feel like
it was
kind of wild when they're
classless.
evaluating it. Let's
and
start
I want to
with
like be
Cheryl.
done with this whole conversation. So for people to come at me and say that I made those comments because I'm a racist, like first of all, black people can't be racist, but like that's the farthest thing from my mind. Like I grew up in a very small West Texas town, predominantly white. My best childhood friend is white. So it's important for me that I speak up for people that look like me. Like, it's Black History Month. So, like, our ancestors fought and died for us to have opportunities that we have today. I have, like, no issues with Caitlyn. Her breaking the record, I think, obviously is a tremendous accomplishment. Although, you know, we could get into that discussion also, because there was a big debate on Lynette Woodard having the actual record.
So what's your thoughts on that brief clip? Like, what is your thoughts on that?
But see, this is what I hate, and I've watched the WNBA in its inception when Houston Comets was kicking ass in the beginning. Tina Thompson, Cheryl Swoops, they was out there, and Cynthia, she was out there doing her thing, and yeah, they were the pillars out there really representing that shit, and they had everything. But your time is gone. Let that shit go. That's been my whole thing. It's like you sitting there harping on this, that, and the third. This is the day and age now. You people shooting threes unnecessarily, but that's what they're doing. But you guys are there to break the ceiling, just to get the league going to where it was. So let them carry the torch and do their thing. You can sit there and have a cool critique, but all this little sideways shit, no.
And I don't like when people act like anyone can be racist.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Being racist is one thing. Having a racist system behind you to displace people is something else. I don't think we have the power to do that. But to say that black people can't be racist, it's like, yeah, you can. So you just don't have the means to affect somebody's life with your racism. But as soon as you tell somebody they can't be around you based on how they look, based on how they talk, based on their cultural background, racial background, ethnicity, anybody can do that on the planet. So when they make ignorant statements like that, I think it's corny. And what I really don't like is how we water down with these conversations of race. It waters down from when we really need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like our people didn't fight for us to sell out arenas playing basketball. It's like we like to use this what our people fought for shit when it's convenient to us. It's like I'm pretty sure the slaves wasn't rebelling so we can shoot threes all day. It's like, stop bringing in these arguments when it's conducive to you, because if you want to get technical, our ancestors had a certain approach to relating and dealing with men and women. You're not doing that. I believe Cheryl Swoops, no offense to the L, I think she's with a woman. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure our ancestors ain't died for that. You know what I'm saying? So we focus on such things that are relevant more so than other things, that like our character, how we approach, how we put our image out to the world. That's what our ancestors fought for. They didn't fight for you to be dunking the basketball as a woman. Not to say something wrong with that.
No.
It's like we just love to use those terms so loosely. And it's like, did our ancestors really fight for that? Like anytime someone is displacing or may not understand the sisterhood, now it's about the ancestors. Now it's about that, and it's like that has nothing to do with this.
But I want to say something to your point.
They're investing in a young woman that fits their criteria for what they want to invest in. Has nothing to do with race or nothing else. She comes from their background. Yeah. Well, I guess it has to do with race because she's white, but she's also a white woman who carries their conservative values image-wise. So I don't see why our sisters were so offended by that. Go ahead.
Well, I want to say to your point, because like when it comes to racism, that it not only is a team sport, you need to have resources and other things to affect people's lives to do that shit too. But when it comes to this whole thing, the whole race thing, it's basically thinly veiling the conversations we need to have, not just in this arena, but in the relationships and everything, because there is nuance we have to deal with. And most people
because it waters down race conversation when we really need to talk about it.
Yeah,
like for real stuff. This is not it. Basketball is not it. Here's another clip.
Cube and the Big Three offering Caitlyn Clark $5 million.
No, I said like these empty blanket statements ain't gonna help anything. All it is gonna just kick the can down the street, and we're gonna address that later. So
exactly.
Cube and the Big Three offering Caitlyn Clark $5 million to play in their league.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts, but the first one is, so you offered the contract to a player who's not yet even in the WNBA. Big Three does not happen during overseas season, so that doesn't make sense.
That's true.
And then for us to get like just constantly shit on, like you can't even acknowledge the growth and how amazing the WNBA is doing because shit like this happens. You didn't even have to bring up the W. If you're gonna say that it's for that, then stand on that. But I don't think it's, I think he's trying to make a business decision, which he's a businessman, that makes sense. But to mask it in this, I want to uplift and support WNBA players and women athletes is kind of a cop-out, I think. And I don't think it really makes any sense.
Now, she said, first of all, she said Ice Cube, she said they was shitted on.
Yeah.
Because Ice Cube wanted to invest $5 million in Caitlyn Clark, somebody that had a meteoric rise. She had a huge following from the WNBA.
And from college.
The fact that a black man had the means to even provide somebody with $5 million in the WNBA is an accomplishment. So because we so broke. So the fact that he even got $5 million to offer a woman for athletics should have been an accomplishment. But they say, you know, he shitted on us. But what about to show you when they pick and choose to want your love? We all remember when Ice Cube was on a show called Cocktails with the Queens. I don't know if you guys remember that show.
Oh, I remember.
There was a portion when he was talking about implementing programs based on the current political party that was running that would be implemented for black people. So when Ice Cube came with a political agenda, which included all black people, he was responded to pretty negatively. So it's funny how they value his contribution so much when it comes to basketball, but they didn't really value him when he came with a political perspective, which shows you how you can turn a lot of people off. You know, once men come, if Ice Cube came to you and tried to help you on a social political side and you gave him pushback, why would he try to promote you? Not saying he did it for that reason, but it's like if you're not living away and if you're not agreeing with the men that are investing, you can't bash men and then want them to invest in your brand. A lot of women are bashing men today, but it's the men, regardless of all the education. Most of the millionaires and billionaires are men, and most of them are white men. So how many conservative, right-wing, billionaire white men are going to invest billions into not just women, but black women on top of that? Just like how many of them are willing to invest in black men, but not just black men and black women, but black men and black women who are not carrying themselves. It's not like it's the entertainment. It's not like it's the music game where they will invest in something negative. They will invest in a negative artist or a ratchet artist, male or female. But when it comes to basketball and when it comes to sports, something that's palatable for all people, they don't have the same lenience with music and entertainment like they do with sports. Look at the Michael Sam situation. The NFL, he didn't last too long in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different when it comes to those sports leagues as far as the type of imagery that they're willing to invest in. I feel like a lot of the imagery of the women in the WNBA is not conducive to the image of the investors. Right. So I want to check out this clip real quick with because you said two things. First, I want to check out this clip, and then I want to go to statistics about the actual growth of the league. Yeah. So let me share the screen. Screen share. Yeah. So let's check this out for a little bit. Matter of fact, I think. Okay, here we go.
Hey, welcome back for another video into of you around for the Black community.
No, I'm gonna go straight to. Hold on. I'm just going straight to the video.
Like
now just look at them how they responded.
I didn't say I was supporting Trump. So
allegedly, right? Not only for his music, but his involvement with policy and politics. Please, everybody, welcome Ice Cube. Hello, sir.
Hey, what's up? How y'all doing?
Hey, you.
Yo, what's up?
What's
up, Lisa Ray? How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great.
Just in case they try to flag me, I'm gonna speed
How's
up
everybody
the
doing?
playback speed a little bit because they be doing other stuff.
And we're also very appreciative of you taking the time to come talk to us here. I know everyone's trying to get a piece of you and talk to you and have you on their platform. So we definitely appreciate that. So thank you. I want to ask you just out the gate how you're doing. You know, how have you been coping with the pandemic, the civil unrest? Black people have always been through trying times, but it's a little extra right now on top of our regular stress. We got another layer on top. You know, we got 10 on 20 right now. So how are you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, the pandemic, it hit everybody and caught everybody off guard. Thank God for D Nice, who started spinning them records, man, and kept people just, you know, kind of, you kept our sanity, you know what I'm saying? And then the thing with George Floyd happened, which shook everybody to our core. You know, when you hear a man, you know, scream for his mama, I think everybody in the world felt that. So, you know, everything switched reels for me, and I just been on this quest trying to get us true equality, you know, not just equality on, you know, social issues, but economic equality, which is, you know, just as important.
Well, let's just jump right in then, Q, because.
Hold on, there's a question in the chat. Let me respond to this. Okay. His brother said, are you saying the WM image for W is not conducive for investors? Obviously not. Obviously it's not. Because they haven't been investing. They seem to be invested more in some players, but they're not investing in it that much. Why would someone invest in an image that they don't agree with? So these players, the WNBA has reached a surging, they've surged in viewership over the last year. And I think that's due to the rise of Caitlyn Clark. And I want to give Angel Reese slight credit, but I think Caitlyn Clark has raised up the viewership, especially amongst men and white men. And when you're talking about as far as investors for what, we talking about investing for their brand. If someone doesn't agree with your image, they're not going to invest in you. People, these big time brands, they invest in people that they feel like represents their brand. So Caitlyn Clark has a lot of investors, and a lot of black WNBA players are upset because they feel like other women should have got it. But when you look at how they carry themselves, when you look at how they speak, when you look at how you talking about right-wing Christian rich men, at least on the surface. That's what they're giving off. Why would they be investing? It's like how they do the NBA. A lot of good black players don't get those investments based on who's behind it. Look at how they did Kyrie. He started speaking up against the Jews. He started speaking up against COVID vaccine. Didn't he lose his scholarships? Didn't he lose his sponsorship to Nike? Absolutely, because of who is behind these investments. So why would they invest in these belligerent, very aggressive, very masculine black women who a lot of times speak out against these men's particular views? So to me, it makes sense that they got behind a Caitlyn Clark. This is somebody that's in a league that's dominated by black people. She's coming to it. She's balling. She's playing in a modern style that a lot of men are doing, and she's bringing it to the WNBA. That's going to cause people to be interested in that. She came with a crowd from college, so I don't see what's the confusion about. But in this clip, you see the pushback to what really matters, and they make a big deal over stuff that do not matter. Because when Ice Cube came with an option for political solutions, social solutions, let's see what they had to say.
I have been, looking at some of the bites from your interview. You did an interview with Roland Martin, which helped me, I'm going to say, because I will say that when I first heard that you were supporting Trump, I was like, wait a minute, what?
hold on, because you my boy. So I was like, I got a personal insight. I'm gonna call him directly.
I didn't say I was supporting Trump. So
allegedly, right?
Yeah,
That's what I heard. That's what the bite, the sound bite.
Yeah.
You know, that's why people got to do their research. And I watched that interview, and I heard you break it down to why you were involved, why you met with both sides, and when you got involved, which was not just recently. And so when I said, you know, what contract was he talking about? This contract of Black America, like, what is that? Where did it come from? I did not know. So when I think of things that I don't know, I automatically assume that a whole lot of people out there don't know. So I would want you to educate me as well. So what did make you go to the administration and speak with them?
Well, what happened was, you know, it was a lot of yelling, a lot of people upset, a lot of reforms being put on the table during George Floyd. But I was looking around for a document that really was speaking on what's the needs in the community and what do we need across the board, not just from government, but from the private sector too. Because there's a lot of companies that are involved in our pain, and they got to pay up too. You know, they owe us reparations as well in some shape or form. So it was nothing. I was looking around. I'm like, damn, where is the document? Where is the ask? What are we asking for as a people across the board that deals with not only police brutality, but all our needs? So I started working on it myself with, you know, some smart people I know. We end up getting, you know, economists involved, people like Derek Hamilton. You know, we started to go and just find the smartest minds to help try to put a document together so we can actually have something to say, damn, all this is things we need. This is so anybody Black could look at our document and say, yeah, support this, support, you know, some of the things that we have. Now, I'm not a politician, and I shouldn't be the one to have to put this thing together. We've had politicians in place for a long time, and they haven't come up with something like this. So I was surprised, but that didn't stop me. And we put that together July 1st, and we revamped it about, let me get the timeline here. We revamped it July 19th. And from then, people wanted to interview me about it. So I went on just promoting the contract with Black America, you know, hoping to be contacted by any of the politicians saying, yo, this is a great idea. Everybody that I would show would say, oh, these are great ideas. This is common sense. This is things that should be in place already, but they're not. So I was just kind of saying, okay, we're going to start an initiative. And I'll make a long story short. I was just going up, basically saying, okay, we're going to go after the private sector. We're going to go after the banks. We're going to go after Hollywood. We're going to go after the people that we know got their hands in the cookie jar. You know what I mean? So then we started to get contacted from, the Democrats.
Look at the faces. They're not impressed.
September 8th. And then we started talking to them. Then we got contacted by the Republicans. So that's when the ball started rolling then. So it's not just like I just jumped into anything. I mean, I just did the contract and then people started to contact me, not the other way around. I was hoping the Democrats would be all over me. But you know, that wasn't the case. And I understand it wasn't like I was throwing a fit. I just was like, okay, we're going at the private sector. And then the Republicans contacted me. And to me, if you're speaking for Black people, you should speak to whoever is in power or about to be in power.
And I think you had a statistic. You said something about there has been 7,000 Black people elected, and you felt like in offices for us, and you felt like they ain't made a change. We've not come far at all with 7,000 of us in there. What are we going to do? Who is going to take this and say, okay, I'll be in the front line of this, and then get in the front line and have everybody come on board with you? Because let's be honest, you are Ice Cube and you do have a huge platform. So I would say that for me to know that you've been using your platform to be able to have an initiative like that, I think it's worth you doing the interviews that you're doing and letting everybody know and hear your voice on.
I want to jump in and say, I just don't think it's that fair to the 7,000 Black elected officials that have been in office.
Right, to say that they've done nothing.
Yeah, because I think that is, I think that's a slippery slope to walk down, because as we saw with
a lot of progress has been made.
It's not as simple as you get elected and bam, you can make all these changes one man.
And this is where they be losing me, right? We have people that come in front of us that their job is to make changes, but we don't hold them accountable. So basically, if you listen to what she's saying, Ronan, I'm sure you can get it.
Yeah.
She's saying, well, we had Obama in office, so don't talk about him. So he's not entitled to do nothing for you.
Right.
But white millionaires are.
Yeah.
Think about that. Yeah. These white millionaires that invest in Caitlyn Clark owe you something, but Obama don't. or whoever get in office, these black mayors, these black politicians, they don't owe us nothing because it's all about the image to them. They don't owe you nothing, but these white billionaires and Nike and State Farm do that don't even make no sense.
Yeah, it don't.
So it's like, is it about really getting support, or it's about the image of support? It doesn't make any sense, because if anybody need to be held accountable to doing something directly for you, it's a politician, not a billionaire.
No, it's true.
So how you feel about it? And I'm gonna go back to the clip. How you feel about
that? I kept hearing the whole conversation. Well, they just got in there. You let them get their term, and then, they can bleed that in there. It's like, you're doing that for every politician. They get the whole pattern. Look, I can play around. I can do what I want to do, or he'll not do anything for you. You can just brag about I was in there and didn't do anything, and we still have that to this day. So I just never understood the whole thing. Just, well, we had a black president. Then what?
Yeah, we don't have to hold them to nothing, because with our people, a lot of times, especially our sisters, it's all about the image of power. It's not actually about doing nothing. It's about just being in that seat. Kamala need to be in office because it looks good, because it's a black woman or the parents of a black woman sitting in the office of power. It's not about actually doing anything. It's about just looking like you're doing something. As long as it looks like it's being done, it doesn't matter. So let's see what they say when we start talking.
I never said that 7,000 people, black people, have never did anything. I said that since the 60s, there's been over 7,000 black politicians elected in prominent positions. And our situation, as far as the wealth gap, hasn't changed. We flatlined from the 60s to now. We have not gained or closed the wealth gap. So that's the major problem. I understand we got a lot of people, working hard for progress. That the facts are, it hasn't happened in the traditional way. So that's why I want to break the mold.
So I just want to say, first of all, there's this whole cancel culture that we have. First of all, anybody canceling no damn Ice Cube. Let me just say that first out the gate. This is NWA.
Thank you.
He was the first to say fuck the police. So go sit down. Nobody's canceling Ice Cube, and if you are canceling, that's fucking stupid. Second of all, I do think that it is very good that you are taking an initiative to, and I like how you say bipartisan, because that means both parties. This is for both parties. We want both parties to jump onto this. This is not just, this person, that person. We want everybody to grab a hold on to what African-American people need singularly. And I remember we talked about this on Cocktails. Remember, Lisa Ray, when you asked the question before, you were like, well, who's going to do something? Who's going to lead singularly for African-Americans? Now, I do know that there have been tons of initiatives. CDC has initiatives all the time, Congressional Black Caucus, the Nation of Islam, right here, National Agenda. They've had an entire agenda that happened right after the Million Man March. It was presented to, what's the name? The president that was in, what's the name? Clinton. It was presented to the Clinton administration. So we have tried. There has been trying going on. But one thing I do like about your initiative is that it is singular to Black people. That gap, that wealth gap, is a fool, and it does need to be fixed immediately. But here's my question. I watched you on the Black Report the other day, on Friday, and they asked you, hey, Q, what do you think about, when you see the Black man march, and how does that make you feel? And you said something that was really profound that stood out to me. You said, you know what? I wish that Black people and Black men could watch this over again and get back to this, because you said, even myself, we need to get back to this type of unity, this type of connecting. And so my thing is, let's say whoever get in office, it ain't gonna matter. The initiative is set, and then it's like nothing's happening, or something is happening, whatever, it's there. Now, let's say they give us all the $500 billion that we asked for. Do you honestly think, and I'm not even trying to be funny or trying to catch nobody up, and I'm just asking like a real question. With the state of how our community is already broken, how we already have PTSD, how we already are not connecting already interculturally, the infrastructure of African Americans in general is just jammed up with or without money. Do you think, and what could be the process of, once we get this money, of implementing it properly into our communities and really being able to allocate it where it makes sense and matters, and what's going to be necessary for that to happen?
Well, what I said on the show about the Million Man March was the fact that it was the Million Man March, but it was a day of atonement. It was a day where we were gonna bury the hatchet with each other. It was the day when we were supposed to go back to our neighborhood kind of as new people and try to, make things better. Right. And, it just didn't happen the way, we all envisioned it. But that don't mean we can't start. We do need financial help in our communities, but we also gotta make a commitment to ourselves to clean up ourselves. It do start with the person in the mirror. You can't deal with the white man out here until you deal with the white man in there. You see what I mean? So you have to clean up. We have to clean up ourselves. We've been poisoned by this society. We've been poisoned by trying to live like the people who've had us oppressed, and what they are attracted to, we're attracted to. We got to come out of that. We got to be our own people with our own flavor, our own style, our own morals, and we got to flip it. You know, I'm not Mr. Holy. I'm guilty of it too. So it's something we all have to start doing to clean ourselves up. But I think the key is to try to get the money in the hands of people who are doing things, who are trying to be on the right side, the progressive people, the people who are business owners, people who want to own homes, people who want to beautify their homes so it isn't just gentrified. So it's things where we can get money into responsible people's hands, and hopefully they'll hire the community to teach the community. They'll use the community to hopefully clean the community up. I also think the government has a job too. Why you use the armies just to come in and put guns on us and make sure we're not protesting? Why you don't use the armies to come fix fences and roofs and paint walls and do things to beautify the neighborhood? It's like they got to rethink how government works for the people, and they're not going to do it using the same old ways. You're going to have to push them. You're going to have to find pressure points, and you're going to have to use leverage when it's time.
I just got to make a quick statement though, Q.
Go ahead.
If the administration that is in there right now hasn't done it for the past 3.5 years, what do you think is going to make them start in the next 4 years that they are given more and given more during a pandemic? I know you got to take a break, hold that thought, but I just got to ask that and make that statement, because you can't make them all of that, and they've been there for 3.5 years. So
I ain't trying to make them do nothing. So
we need them to do something if we're going to trust them to do it.
Hold on, guys. We got to take a quick break. I definitely want to talk about that. I definitely want to talk about Q. You hit on some very, very good point about the military.
Now, I'm gonna keep it playing because I want to get to the Vivica part when she was grilling him and telling him what's in it for them and stuff like that. Let me see if I get to that part.
But I feel like
been like he's the boogeyman run, and nobody's been pressing him on behalf of Black people because we've been just waiting for Democrats. Black people, these are country issues. I'm talking about Black people pressing him to give things to Black people. Everybody treated him like the boogeyman. Nobody would go and press him to give things to Black people. The stuff that he's doing to the rest of the country, I understand that, but we raggedy. We got to get our. We have to press any president that ends up winning. We have to press, or it's not going to work. We can't just press one side.
He says when we do press them that the other people are fine people. I mean, is that?
See, this is what I'm talking about. But these are the people who want all this attention and want all these investments. He's a businessman. Why would he invest in a populace, in a group of people who can't even have a conversation about helping them? He's talking about implementing a program for Black people, period. But then you want him to turn around and invest in you athletic-wise, entertain. Why would he do that? See, they want the money of the man. They want the million. They want the money of the accomplished man. They want the resource of accomplished man, but they don't respect those men, and they don't have the proper countenance to engage with these men. So you think they're going to take money and invest in you? Why wouldn't they invest in Caitlyn Clark? Conservative, clean cut, middle America white girl. Why wouldn't they invest in her? He can't even talk to you about the conditions of your own people, let alone something that's irrelevant like entertainment. That's not even relevant. We can't even talk to you about real issues. Right. So how do you feel about that clip, Ronan?
Well, I said like negative media betrayal hits hard, and when you can't even handle things as far as like politics, outstanding issues as far as like community, how we address each other in our personal issues, you don't even want to get on that stage. Why would they put one red cent into something like entertainment or anything else? So just how you carry yourself on a platform, they tend to forget that people are watching them.
People are watching. You don't realize that your personality bleeds into other things. People are not invested in this. I don't want to hear that shit. They're not invested in that. They might use you politically. They might gas you up to sway the votes. But when it comes to progression, they're not investing in that. And I think the problem is they keep trying to trick our sisters off the street. They gas you up to be this independent, sassy mouth person to affect your man, but they're not trying to promote you either. They just pick you up when they need you, and they put you down when they don't. Kamala picked up the ratchet twerking community to get votes, and after that, she was gone. They use y'all, sisters. They don't love you. They using you when they need to. And then you try to take that attitude to other genres and other mediums, and you're not received well because they don't receive it anyway. They're just using you. Let's keep going and see what Miss Vivica got to say.
Right. I mean, and he won't denounce the people that hurt us and suppress us. And then the policeman had his neck on somebody's neck for 9 minutes. He never support them.
I'm not here to fight about what he did, what he didn't do. Is he a good white man? Is he a bad white man? To me, they pretty much all the same. So now,
I don't agree with that.
With that said,
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with. Can I? I don't agree. I used to be.
Well, look. Our situation hasn't changed, so that's why I said they're pretty much all the same when it comes to a president and dealing with our situation.
So let me. I gotta ask this question. Because you're on this show with the cocktails with the queens, and there's a reason for that. It wasn't to have you defend or not defend Donald Trump. It was about. I care about what's in this contract with Black America for women, and it's not. We're not mentioned at all in the contract with Black America. And
you are mentioned. I mean, when you mention Black people, you mentioning Black women. So don't count yourself out.
No, that's not true.
That's like administration.
Look at him.
This right here.
Look at him. Let's repeat it. First of all, let's double back. Let's go back to this clip where this young lady said the goofy shit.
Cube and the Big Three offering Caitlyn Clark $5 million to play in their league.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts, but the first one is, so you offered the contract to a player who's not yet even in the WNBA. Big Three does not happen during overseas season, so that doesn't make sense.
That's true.
And then for us to get like just constantly shit on, like you can't even acknowledge the growth and how amazing the WNBA is doing because shit like this happens.
When
you didn't even have to bring up the W. If you're gonna say that it's for that, then stand on that. But I don't think it's. I think he's trying to make a business decision, which he's a businessman. That makes sense. But to mask it in this, I want to uplift and support WNBA players and women athletes is kind of a cop-out, I think, and I don't think it really makes any sense.
You can't make this shit up.
You can't make this shit up. So he can't talk to you about politics, real stuff affecting your community, but he's supposed to take his money and invest in you. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? So let's go back to the queens and see how they responded to a man talking about a program for Black people. And what do they say?
To say that when they
Black
make
people, not Black women,
the contract with Black America. And
you are mentioned. I mean, when you mention Black people, you mentioning Black women. So don't count yourself out.
No,
yes,
that's not true. That's like administration say that when they
Black
make
people is not Black women. Black women are not included in Black people.
No,
Come on,
but
ladies.
that's like, you know, that's what you're saying. That's like when the president says minorities, then he's including Black people. But we all know that that's not the case. Black women have specific needs that are not also being met. And we also feel that there should be some things that are specific to.
So they have specific needs that are exclusive to them that don't include the rest of the people. That's why I always feel like Black women have created a subculture group for themselves. It's not about the group. It's about Black women. It's not about Black men, children. It's about Black women. So why would people go out their way to invest in a group that's only focused on their own bottom line as opposed to someone who's more conducive, more marketable, more palatable for a white dominated country? Yeah. They're not going to pick you over that girl. So let's go to something else she said. She mentioned that the growth of the WNBA. And support the channel, y'all. We gotta go. I'm trying to get 10 super chats of at least 5. If you can spare it, if you can show love to the channel, please do. We trying to grow. We trying to grind. Support the channel. Support the channel. We are not passing around a trash basket. We are trying to grow.
Donation. It's a donation. I thought it was a trash. Don't be hitting on me.
We are trying to grow. All right. We trying to grow. Donation. All right. Support the channel. Support the channel. So yeah. So let's go. I want to share another screen. Let's go into the data because this woman said, just in case we forgot, this young lady said
Cube and the Big Three offering Caitlyn Clark $5 million to play in their league?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts. But the first one is, so you offered the contract to a player who's not yet even in the WNBA. Big Three does not happen during overseas season. So that doesn't make sense.
That's true.
And then for us to get, like, just constantly shit on, like, you can't even acknowledge the growth and how amazing the WNBA is doing because shit like this happens.
When
You didn't even have to bring up the W. If you're going to say that it's for that, then stand on that. But I don't think it's, I think he's trying to make a business decision, which he's a businessman, that makes sense. But to mask it in this, I want to uplift and support WNBA players and women athletes is kind of a cop-out, I think. And I don't think it really makes any sense.
Yeah, so what is she talking about? So let's look at this. This is the actual data of this year's growth of the WNBA because it hasn't been growing. Let's look at the numbers. As of 2021, they had a 300,000. Could y'all see the screen? 300,000 people. They had a viewership of 300,000. The boost went from 300,000 to 372, 2022. 23 went to 440. 2024 went up to 1.4 million. Why? The league was not growing.
Yeah.
What grew it was Caitlyn Clark, and I guess you can slide Angel Reese in there.
Yeah.
But she's the person that grew the league. It wasn't y'all. And it wasn't because y'all didn't have talent. It was because the image that's often presented when the sisters are talking on behalf of the WNBA. They're very masculine, they're very aggressive, and they don't really carry the image that is conducive for these leagues. There's another clip I got. Just look at this.
Said this on a podcast talking about Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese and how it's going to be difficult to come into the W and adjust to the pace no matter how good you are in college.
Facts.
Because some of those girls you play against in college, people aren't playing defense hard. They're not trying to go to the next level. So this is like low-key extracurricular activity in high school for them.
Correct.
When you get to the league, these are grown women who this is their job. This is how they eat. They've been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
Candace Parker has been the only person we've seen in recent years to come in and absolutely dominate as a rookie.
Correct.
So it wasn't a shot to say, oh, it's going to be an adjustment period, even for a good player. Kelsey Plum went through it. I played with Kelsey in San Antonio.
Right.
And Kelsey was not where she is now.
In the league, like where she's called for a cut. We see it in the season.
Exactly,
Like,
but she works her ass off, and that's how she got to where she is. Because you needed time to adjust.
Absolutely.
So people throw around generational talent and stuff.
Right.
Candace was a generational talent.
So who they gonna put their money? They gonna invest in that, or they gonna invest in Middle America, Caitlyn Clark? They lied. They said she's not a generational talent. The girl averaging 19, 8, and 5 at the one. That's generational. I don't even think Candace Parker averaged that amount of points.
No.
It's like what? It's the numbers is here. The girl grew the league way more than they ever grew it.
Actually, I've seen the explosion in Indianapolis. Like, it used to be run-the-mill type games. Rates went up everywhere. Restaurant businesses went up. Merchandise sales went crazy. Just seeing Caitlyn Mania, like, they was having the whole media press, all that. Anytime they had games, they sold them shits out, which was unheard of in a long time. You had people, I mean, even guys were coming to the games. So, that lack of support, the people who sit down at home, it says a whole lot.
Exactly. And it's funny because the person they need to be mad at between Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark is Angel Reese. Because Caitlyn Clark, we all know she's white. If you white, you're going to get a pass. We know that. It's America. But the girl actually know how to play basketball. So if anything, she's telling you that if you play well enough, you can get sponsorship. Angel Reese averaged 13 and 13, and she's worth the same amount as Aja Wilson, who's the two-time MVP. That doesn't make no sense. So you mean to tell me somebody that averaged 13 points a game
and 13 rebounds
has the same net worth as the best player in the league? So you should be mad at her because she's not getting no sponsorship because of her talent. Let's be real. She's very personable. She's doing the podcast. She's, you know, she's coming out on these concerts with her behind hanging out.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, that's not really, she's not getting where she's at because of her basketball game. I think Caitlyn is getting there because of her basketball game.
She does have a few sponsors.
my brother. Shout out. We got our first super chat of the day.
Okay. Shout
out to my man, 100 grand. This is my real life man too. Like, we really chop it up in real life. This is my bro. Shout out to my Sean with the $9.99. I think he just showed love. I don't even think it was. Is there a message attached to it, Sean? Did you add a little message to it? No, he just showed love. No message required. Appreciate you, Sean. Appreciate you. Follow the lead by Sean. Support the chat. We just need. I get the 10 super chats. We're gonna open up the panel. Let other people come in.
And I was gonna say,
Ronan.
Yeah, I was gonna say with
go ahead. You got it, bro.
With Angel, she does have some sponsorships, but not the major hard hitting ones where she can put her little check up. So, you know, again, it's like it's about presentation among other things. Because when it comes to marketing, you basically sell yourself. So
exactly,
I don't see the confusion here.
Exactly, and it's like, let's just look at their stats. You know, let's just look at the stats. Head to head, what we got? Caitlyn Clark. Head to head regular season, she's 3-1 against Angel Reese.
Yep.
Angel Reese is 1-3. Angel Reese averaged 13 points, 13 rebounds, a field goal percentage of basically little under 40%, and she plays under the rim. So that's not really good. And we're not just bashing her. We keeping it basketball. It ain't a color thing. We're just calling a spade a spade. Because black men had no problem saying Larry Bird was great, and nobody had no pushback. No. So let's not make it seem like it's a race thing. Many black men will swear by Larry Bird. We're talking basketball now.
That's another conversation.
The girl averaged 13 points, 13 rebounds, 1 steal, and she even averages less blocks than the girl, and she's 6 feet. So free throw percentage 70% free throw shooter. Caitlyn Clark averaging at the 19, 5 boards, 8 assists and a steal, and even more blocks than Angel Reese, and she plays the guard. Yeah. So who deserves the sponsorship based on ability? Her getting all that sponsorship does more damage than the WNBA than Caitlyn does, because Angel Reese is getting sponsorship based on her off the court exploits, not basketball. Caitlyn Clark is not getting sponsorship because of who she is off the court. It's what she do on the court, and the fact that she don't carry herself in a disrespectful way. It's like we can't ignore that. And as young black women, if I had a daughter, if I said who I want you to watch, I would want her to watch Caitlyn, because she's professional. She doesn't talk crazy. She gave black women their credit and say they built the league.
Yeah.
She said that on multiple occasions. She said black women built this league. So I don't see what the problem is. I don't see why they're so upset with the young lady. I think that it's a little bit of hatred, and I think that they're setting our sisters up for failure to make them not just black women, black people, period. They're trying to make us the scapegoat for degenerate behavior in this country.
Yeah, and
we need to figure that out. And they're definitely using our women. They're using our women to be the scapegoats for degeneracy. They blaming the twerking, even though we all seen girls going wild back in the day, but they took that shit off because they wouldn't stand for it. But we make it rain on the hoes. We throw money on these people, and these women get gassed up and think, oh, we cool, we could be ratchet. No, they using you for a scapegoat later, because it's cool to twerk to get in office, but we're not going to let you do that at our place of business. And the black women get confused. I thought I could twerk. No, you could twerk when we tell you to twerk. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is not what we own. We don't like this. So I want to check out Caitlyn Clark and how she speaks, as opposed to.
Hey, bro, I said that like I wanted to hit you up. Like I got to step out here real quick, but I wanted to sit there and let you know, like keep kicking ass on these podcasts, man. Fucking just keep raining fire on them boys, because they can't.
I appreciate it, bro. You got a slide?
Yeah, I got to slide out here, but it's an honor and pleasure to be here, man. Just proud of you.
No doubt, Rona. No doubt. No doubt. Appreciate you, bro. Anytime. Yeah, y'all. So let's get into it. Caitlyn, she spoke on let me see if I can find a clip. Cause she was basically being very apologetic and very, very contrite. And she was very respectful. And I think that goes a long way, sisters. Like, it just does. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ratchet energy, no one really likes it. They just use it for a political reason when it's conducive to someone else's bottom line, but it's really not helping the community. It's really not something that they really accept, and they're just gassing you up. And then when you try to apply it in other areas, you realize that they really don't fuck with that shit. But they'll tell you to do it to get some votes. They'll tell you to do it to fit an agenda that they need, but they really don't really mess with that, and they're not going to invest in that. You see what they ain't investing in? They're investing in Caitlyn Clark. They're not investing in a lot of sisters as they maybe should, but it's how you carry yourself. You know what I'm saying? Angel Reese, I never seen Caitlyn Clark post a mold of her vagina. I seen Angel Reese do that. I don't see Caitlyn Clark at these concerts with her behind hanging out. I see Angel Reese doing that. So it's like you can't expect white billionaires to invest in her over other girl, and she still gets investment. I believe Angel Reese got Reebok. She got Reese's Pieces. She got a few sponsorships, but I think it's more based on her sexuality off the court than there's her actual game, because I didn't see too much from the game. Shout out to Izzy. We got another super chat in the building. Thank you, Izzy. Thank you. Izzy Best said, peace, a little something in the pot. I appreciate you, brother. That's all we need. We just need a little something. You know what I'm saying? We know you're all hardworking people. We're just trying to add a little something to the pot. But yeah, y'all, I just think the sisters be a little out of touch with their image, and they can come off real hateful sometimes with the things they say and do, because it really doesn't add up.
I've been dealing with this for 2 years now, and understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that, because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
You see the arrogance? I don't hear Caitlyn talking like that. I don't hear her saying it's because of me, even though we see that it's obviously because of her. I never heard her say that. She has more the demeanor of the great players, period, regardless of gender or race. I hear the way Caitlyn talks is more like the Tom Brady's of the world, more like the Michael Jordans of the world. I never heard Michael Jordan say he was the greatest. He would always tip his hat to the players that came before him. So I think those character traits are very off-putting to big-time investors. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that her talent, Angel Reese's talent, is why she's in the spotlight, in my opinion. But let's go to the chat. I see a couple comments. The brother said, Music Man 1982 said, didn't black women shut down My Brother's Keeper for young black brothers? I'm not sure. If anybody got information on that, please send it to me. If that's the case, that's messed up. If that's the case. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, the real gender war is not in the bedroom. It's in corporate America and the halls of academia. Everybody want to talk about who's dating who's laying who. I don't think that's what it's about. When you really get to the nitty gritty of it, it's about that. Who else? Brother, let's see. Brother said, what acknowledgement is there to make y'all lose money every year? Absolutely. The WNBA don't even make money. Like, they're very arrogant. Like, the first time they finally got some airplay, and it came through a white girl, but it helped. It worked. Y'all got the attention. Y'all got the money, and they still mad. Because it's not pedestalizing black women. If it's not pedestalizing them, they're gonna hate you for it. So let's go into part 2 of tonight's show, because I'm not trying to keep your head all night. Let's talk about cooking with Kaya. Cooking with Kaya. Everybody's so mad at cooking with Kaya. Where's her clip at? Let's take it here. Okay. Yeah, everybody's mad at this young lady, and a lot of people saying that it's because she's twerking, and it's because she got up behind, she's dancing. But I'm like, I thought y'all liked the twerk. I didn't know twerking was something that that black woman was against. That's news to me. You know what I'm saying? That's news to me. I seen them twerking all the time. So is it a matter of her twerking, or is it because she's twerking at the thought of women doing something for a man, preferably a black one, and in that kitchen? So is it about her movement, her physical movement of her body, her twerking, or is it about who she's catering to? I think it's the latter. I think whenever you put brothers on a pedestal in some sense of fashion, and anytime you're trying to make brothers feel appreciated in some way, for some reason, a lot of our sisters take that personally as if that's taken away from them. Happy brothers is going to be better men for the community. Don't y'all think? You know what I'm saying? I think so. So let's look at times when twerking is okay. Since she's twerking and cooking, let's look at other instances of twerking where I didn't hear any outcry from the sisters.
Get your booty to the pole, get your booty to the pole, get your booty to the pole, get your booty to the
This was cool.
To the pole, get your booty to the pole, get your booty to the pole, get your booty to the pole. Yeah.
Did we get your attention? Good. So, you're really not gonna vote? You know it's more than just the president on the ballot, right? Check it. A district attorney decides who to prosecute, including whether or not to go after dirty cops. Do you know who elects the DA? We do, but you don't want to vote. Can't make it rain if you locked up on some bullshit. Want trades and coding taught in our schools? Then vote for the school boards that will prepare us for the job market. Want to end cash bail? Well, then vote for the sheriffs and county officials that feel the same way you do. But you talking about, they gonna pick who they gonna pick, shawty. Ferguson just elected their first black mayor. You know how that happened? It's clear black lives don't matter to some of our current elected officials. If they matter to you, then don't let other people decide who's gonna run your community. Get your booty to the poll. Get your booty to the poll. Get your booty.
So that's fine. And they was talking to black men. They was saying, look, dummy, if you want to make it rain on us, go to the vote, go to the polling votes. And they don't want, it's not like, who they wanted to vote for, the Democratic Party. So they're talking to black men and they're using their sexuality and their twerking to get you to do something. So obviously twerking is all right. It's okay. It's super acceptable, except when it's for strictly just you and something that's benefiting you. The Democratic Party has never benefited black men, but they're twerk for that. So obviously twerking is not the issue. That's not the problem. They don't have a problem with that. Let's continue. When else is twerking conducive? Oh.
It never happened to the one second. I'm a hot girl. I can rock. Please can't come on my hot feet. Don't take quick, cause I'm thirsty. You just stand there and wanna hurt me. I'm a hot girl. I can rock. Please can't come on my hot feet. Don't take quick, cause I'm thirsty. You just stand there and wanna hurt me.
This is cool. You can shake her.
Don't take quick, cause I'm thirsty. Yeah.
And let's not forget this one. Remember this? Remember that? Singing WAP and twerking in front of the White House?
So this is what the country has resulted to?
Remember that?
Really?
Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Kai with the Raw Report. And
So
man,
now, well, we had enough about him. So now twerking is bad. Now twerking is bad because she has the nerve to be twerking with some greens and some yams and some potato salad, telling your ass you need to get in the kitchen or I'll take your man. Now we got to cancel her. It's not they're not even about supporting women. It's about supporting the narrative. It's about power. It's about hating anything that's not putting them on a pedestal and anything that's trying to put brothers on. I wouldn't say a pedestal, but just put us in a favorable light, showing us that we deserve love too. Something that's strictly catered to our needs or our enjoyment, our happiness. So I find that very funny. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it just seems like they're just not a fan of anything that's put a smile on our face. And twerking is not a real issue. It's only an issue because she's catering to black men. You know what I'm saying? So I just found that very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. And I don't know why sisters hate on this young sister like that. Why don't they give this pushback to Sexy Red? She got a whole line of products talking about gonorrhea, discharge, all that. I didn't hear no pushback to that. Nobody's saying nothing. So let's be real. It's not about twerking. It's about black men feeling away where they're not upset. And it seems like our sisters love to see us upset. And anything that's making us happy they give pushback to that. And why is that? Why is that? BATL said, come on now, who will listen to this dumb hoe? The fact that she would say, I would take your man, obviously she did the most to try to get clout. See? Now she a dumb hoe. All she did was cook. But you see you see how they act? And I'm familiar with BATL. You seem like I think you one of those Sharon supporters, so I'm not surprised. But it wasn't dumb when Cardi B and them was twerking. It wasn't dumb then. So y'all not mad at twerking. Y'all mad because someone is focusing on a brother and doing something in the kitchen because y'all don't want women doing anything that can slightly be attributed to servitude or service for a man. That's just the bottom line. Because it's not about twerking. Let's go back. Y'all cool with twerking. Where was the sisters at for this? VATL.
Get your booty to the pole. Get your
Are
booty
these
to the
dumb
pole.
hoes
Get
too?
your booty to the pole. Get your booty to the pole. Get your booty
These
to
dumb
the
hoes
pole.
too?
Get your booty to the pole. Get your
VATL.
booty
Let's
to the pole. Get your booty to the pole.
Are these dumb hoes?
Do we get your attention? Good. So, you really not gonna vote? You know it's more than just the president on the ballot, right?
What's
A district attorney decides who to prosecute, including whether or not to go after dirty cops. Do you know who elects the DA? We do, but you don't want to vote. Can't make it rain if you locked up on some bullshit. Want trades and coding taught in our schools? Then vote for the school boards that will prepare us for the job market. Want to end cash bail? Well, then vote for the sheriffs and county officials that feel the same way you do. But you talking about, they gonna pick who they gonna pick, shawty. Ferguson just elected their first black mayor. You know how that happened?
Where was the outcry for this right here? Remember this?
Trey, I think we got one.
It's voting season, bruh.
No voting, no loving. No voting, no touching. No voting, no nothing. No voting, no fucking, no voting, no fucking. No voting, no loving. No voting, no touching. No voting, no nothing. No voting, no fucking, no voting, no fucking. BLK app looking for some action.
Y'all ain't trip over this.
Faces and nine, abs
Y'all ain't
10.
canceled
Is
Saucy
to be
Santana.
determined. He got
Y'all ain't canceled none of these
the only red flag. He said he don't vote. This midterms for all the single cute. Wanna hit this booty, gotta do your civic duty. No voting, no loving. No voting.
Let's call a spade a spade. Y'all mad because she said she'll take your man because she'll cook. Like she could take all y'all men. Just call a spade a spade. Just call a spade, man. Of course you didn't. Of course you didn't. I never seen any of these ads. This is my first time there. Of course you didn't. Of course. They never see it. I don't know these girls y'all be talking about. Ain't y'all tired of hearing that shit? Hold on, man. I'm playing somebody else in the background. Let me hold up. Yeah, man. That girl ain't do nothing to nobody. I don't hear no pushback to these. Where was the pushback for the Megan Thee Stallion twerking at the Democratic Party? Where was that at? I didn't hear nothing from none of y'all. Where's the pushback from this? I got stuff archived. Where was the pushback from this, y'all? Y'all canceled that girl because black men were smiling. It ain't rocket science. If black men smile, it's a wrap. Let's stop acting like it's something deeper than that. Y'all cool with twerking. I remember when them young women was twerking on that man's establishment in Dallas. What was the women saying? Let's look up that. Because I love when they try to act like they don't know what the fuck going on. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Because all of a sudden she's a thirst trap. Remember this? Remember this one right here?
Responding after a video of him yelling at customers went viral.
All this twerking, take it to Prime, take it to Pink. Don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. If you want to do it, get out my restaurant. Because I did it for our people and I did it for our culture.
It started with some customers standing on furniture and twerking. Music played inside True Kitchen plus cocktails. Owner Kevin Kelly says before the viral video was recorded, he asked the women to stop dancing and sit down. The viral video shows him addressing the whole restaurant, saying he invested a lot of money into it so that black people can have somewhere nice to go and feel good. The video spread quickly online, many saying Kelly addressed the situation poorly. He later posted on the restaurant's Facebook apologizing for using salty language, but not for calling out the women. He also posted other videos showing what the women were doing and how workers and management responded before he addressed the whole restaurant. Katie Johnston for CBS 11 News.
So, yeah, I want to read the comments. I want to see what they comments. Let me see. Well, the comments seem to be sane. But I want to respond to Miss BATL. She said, what'd she say? She said, oh no, not that one. Because I love it. Because y'all swear y'all be eating. And you're not. And keep supporting the channel. You know what I mean? If we can get halfway to the goal, I'll drop the link. She said, so you approve of that? I don't approve any of it. It's all trash. Would it be okay if your daughter did that? Cook and twerk? No. It's not about what I think. It's about what y'all pick and choose what you like. I don't want my daughter doing none of the shit half of the black women be doing. But y'all have approved twerking. Y'all have made it acceptable. So you pick and choose when it's disrespectful and when it's not. Now I see you responding now. You're saying, oh, I don't like none of this stuff, but it sounds good. But I don't see no pushback for this other shit. The Suki Hanas, the Sexy Reds. Y'all pick and choose when twerking is acceptable. So if y'all said, if this twerking has been something that our women has embraced as some type of cultural expression, then if you're going to do it, which I don't approve you doing it at all, what's more offensive? You twerking to get us to be socially engineered into voting or into doing something we don't want to do? Or you using twerking to inspire women to get in the fucking kitchen and cook? Like, let's just be real. What would make more sense? Using something that's taboo to get you to do something good, or using taboo to get you to do something that might harm you later? How can cooking harm anybody? How can being more apt to cook for your man so someone else won't have to? How is that bad? Who is y'all? I don't know. I just know every time I see your comment, I see your comments in different rooms, and it's always, y'all just never see what women do. My point is made clear. I ain't about to back and forth. I could drop the link. Y'all keep donating. We can get halfway till I go live, drop the link. But the point is, your constituent sisters have accepted this behavior. So don't be mad at me. Be mad at black women for making twerking the new black fist. Y'all did that shit. So be mad at the twerking that don't get you no fucking way. Why be mad at the girl who's twerking in the kitchen that's just trying to get people to eat? She's a young girl. She's young. Twerking is a part of her generation. This is what they do. But I've seen twerking in way worse situations that wasn't leading to anywhere. She's just trying to get people to get back in the kitchen. So how about we eat the meat and spit out the bones? Y'all, it just, my thing with black people is how we pick and choose when to pick which parts of our brain that work. You know what I'm saying? In other words, like the Puffy and R. Kelly thing. People knew that they did that. It wasn't a rumor. I mean, it was known since the 90s about, especially R. Kelly, about their behavior. People seen the tape. They seen the man urinate on a younger woman. And they still supported him. But they stopped supporting him when mainstream media told them not to do so. So to me, when I know that we have a populace that only responds when told to, or they pick and choose when to be morally correct and when not to be, it's hypocritical to me. I see twerking every damn day. I see women twerking all the time, and I don't hear nobody saying nothing about nothing. They support Megan. They support Cardi. They support Glorilla and everyone. And they not cook. Matter of fact, she said, "I don't cook, I don't clean." She said that in the song. I ain't cooking, I ain't cleaning. I ain't got to do that. I got this WAP. I didn't hear nobody mad. Am I wrong, brothers? Did y'all hear anybody, any women in mass push back on the lyrics to WAP like that? I don't cook, I don't clean, but I got this thing right here. Did y'all hear anything? Put a 1 in the chat if you heard women push back strong to that song. If you did, oh, they are entertainers. Oh, excuses. Shorty's an entertainer. She's on TikTok entertaining and cooking. But you see how they make excuses? She a woman though, but she's an entertainer. She could twerk. Like I said, y'all make excuses for what you want to make excuses for. Bad behavior is bad behavior. Yes, they did. They had little girls singing WAP. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Even grandma was singing WAP. Yes, they was. So kill it. Knock it the fuck off. Knock it the fuck off. If you're going to be wrong, mad at twerking, be mad at it. Don't make a stipulation for, oh, well, it's just a movie. Like me, I'll give you an example. To me, gangsterism, I don't care if it's a joke. I don't care if it's a movie. I don't care if it's in a song. It's all bad to me. I'm not going to make no excuse. Oh, it's just entertaining. I don't care. They got even more responsibility because their message is broadcasted to millions of people. Who you think message was heard more? Cooking with Kaya or WAP? Who message was heard more? Cooking with Kaya or WAP? Now let's just hypothetically speaking, let's just say both of them had 100 million views. What can somebody learn from the WAP video? They can at least learn how to cook from Kaya. That's something. Not saying it's great, but it's something. You can take away, you can leave the twerking and say, hey, well, you can cook for your man. If we take twerking out of the WAP song, what is left? There is nothing there but debauchery, but it's okay because she's entertaining. And that's why I don't take most of y'all women opinion serious. You have to be qualified to talk to me. A lot of y'all just be talking. Y'all just don't want to hear anybody say anything about the sisters. Period. Twerking is twerking. Wrong is wrong. Bad is bad. We're not going to make stipulations on it for the bullshit. Shout out to Lucky Marie with the 100. Absolutely. Absolutely. WAP was way more heard, was way more played than Cooking with Kaya. I don't think the girl lasted a year. They already canceled the girl. I ain't seen nobody cancel Cardi B and them yet. And she talked about how she drugged and raped men. And I heard women defending that shit. So my thing is this. I'm all for supporting the sisters, but sometimes it's hard to do it because it'd be confusing. You can't pick and choose when to be an upstanding sister and when not to be. It just doesn't make any damn sense. So I don't know what's so bad about cooking with Kaya instead of twerking with Megan. No, Kaya's a pick-me. They can't be entertainers because we're not supposed to entertain them. I don't know. I think they just mad because the girl was actually catering to men. That's just my opinion, y'all. I don't think it had nothing to do with her twerking. I think they just mad because she was focusing on men and telling sisters, I'll take your man if you don't cook. I think they pissed off about that. I think that rubbed them the wrong way because as we played earlier, even when brothers come to you like Ice Cube with something strictly for you, you are quick to tell him, hey, we got specific issues. We have specific issues that's beyond the black community. We're above the black community. We're beyond that shit. Poppy Blanco, what's up, bro? I heard you say some shit, Poppy. You cool? I heard you say something on the Fatty show. I heard you say something a little controversial. You said something about me picking sides, or I gotta pick his lane, or I'm picking sides. Like, nah, I ain't pick. I'm telling the truth. I'm not a he-man woman hater, and I'm not a man hater. Like, I love both sides, and I see both sides. I'm not picking no side because there's truth on both sides and there's lies on both sides. She said apparently they exposed Kaya explicit videos allegedly. I mean, I heard Beyonce got some solicit videos. It's a lot of people that got explicit videos, but who they want to expose, why they want to expose them, is very interesting. It's very interesting. But shout out to Poppy Blanco, shout out to Skunkpack, shout out to Lucky Marie. I don't know. I heard the sound bite, Poppy. It sound general, bro. I don't have to pick a side. You know, it's hard. The truth, you got what she said, you got what he said, and then you got the truth. Illa tries to stay in the middle where the truth at. I try to stay away from the extreme perspectives. I try to stay away from that. But shout out to everybody that pulled up. I'm not trying to have these crazy long lives. You know what I'm saying? I want the replay value to be a little high. But if we get to the goal of the chat of the night, what I would do is open up for Q&A. But if we can get halfway there, y'all, I will open up the panel. And if anybody want to join or add to the conversation, you can do that. But yeah, I'm not trying to have y'all here all night. Lucky said that wasn't the point. I was just pointing out the hate to smear her image. Exactly. Illustrated Blades or whatever podcast. Appreciate that. Shout out to Skinny. Shout out to Lucky Marie. Shout out to White School Podcast. But yeah, let's just call a spade, man. You know what I'm saying? Sisters, if you choose to stand next to the debaucherous imagery, and this is white America, this is a Christian country on the surface, because behind the scenes, we don't know what people doing. But that attitude, that ratchet behavior, it's not going to be endorsed with a lot of sponsorships outside of voting time. They let you twerk when it's time to get the votes in. But that energy is not going to get you that Caitlyn Clark bag. That's not going to get you certain opportunities, because that's not conducive to the type of men that's investing in that type of entertainment. Most of the men, they say the WNBA spiked up in viewership by men, mostly white men, because there was somebody that represented their image and their philosophy and their conservative values, appearance-wise, that they can invest in. That makes sense. We need to invest in our own. But unfortunately, a lot of our people don't even live up to our values to invest in. If most of the WNBA is about women with women, it's not really about women with men. A lot of WNBA players, bully a lot of heterosexual black women when they get into the league. So why would men invest in something that's not even conducive for what they want to be? People invest in what's a reflection of them. So if you're pushing for women to be with women and you're pushing for all these other different type of things, why would black heterosexual men invest in a product that doesn't represent their bottom line in reality, and the product oftentimes not that good? That doesn't make sense. So white billionaires will, oh wow. Oh, I don't know how much this equates to American dollars, my brother, but shout out to my man. Hold up.
When she not around, I'm heated, about to lay something flat. Know how to treat it, never take for granted. She got me trapped. My bitch is my money. Money is my bitch.
My nigga.
Love her 'cause she keepin' me rich. But I think she got me.
Let's go, let's go. My brother with the 350 czar. I don't know how that equates to American money, but this is my man. Shout out to my man Solutions, my man Shaheem. Hopefully I said your name right, because you definitely be holding me down. He said, King, you've got the power to break cycles and set standards. I appreciate your grind. Your knowledge is teaching and inspiring all of us. The world is watching. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But yeah, I don't know the conversion rate for the czar. So anybody know the conversion rate for 350 czar to American dollars? I appreciate it though, bro. I appreciate it. I really do. I really do. But yeah. Yeah, y'all. I ain't gonna hold y'all too long. Y'all get the gist of what I'm trying to say. Sisters, let's do better. If you want men to support you, you have to support men's initiatives. You have to support things that men believe in. You know what I'm saying? Oftentimes, sisters find themselves on the opposite side of things that men actually support and believe in, white or black. You know what I'm saying? Uncontrary to popular belief, we still want to see men and women together. We still want to see women feminine. We still want to see our young women raised correctly. We don't want to see you twerking. We don't want to see you shaking your ass. So it's hard for us to invest in a group of people who's not carrying themselves in a way that we think is conducive to our young women and our little sisters and things like that. So let's try to get back on that side, sisters, and maybe the support will come. But you have made such a line in the sand about supporting everything that men are not about. Anything that just empowers women. Empowering women is not necessarily empowering the world. You know what I'm saying? So let's think about that. Tay4 said, "Illa, remember when women was taking those $1,000 Chris Brown pictures? Now upset with Cook with." Exactly. They were saying, I seen women leave. They man left them over that, and they said it was worth it. 10 minutes with Chris Brown taking a picture was worth a 5-year relationship. So they'd pay $1,000 to take a picture with him. What would they pay to spend a night with him? What would they pay for a night with Chris Brown? They paid $1,000 for a picture. You know, so I'm just saying, cooking with Kaya. If we want to start protesting shit, I don't think that's where we should start. There's a lot of stuff to boycott. There's a lot of stuff to protest. A lot of stuff to bring off the internet. I don't think this little girl twerking, making food is the end all be all. I don't think that's something that should be boycotted. The brother said that speaks to the value system. What you mean by that? What speaks to the value system? I mean, I kind of got a clue what you mean, but what you mean by that? Because I'm generous, because I'm nice, y'all, I'm gonna open up the chat just because I like to have a conversation. Even though we missed our goal, I'm gonna spend the last little 15 minutes just to open up the chat. Last little bit of time. We're not gonna be long. But I'm gonna drop the link if you want to come in and share your thoughts briefly. The link is dropped. We still missed our goal. It's okay. I dropped the link. We ain't got to do all of the tongue jazz. How we manipulated. How we manipulated. This is, see, women like this is a prime example of women who don't listen. We're not manipulated by Kaya. We don't think Kaya is the gift to humanity. She's just a cute little chick twerking as making food. Who's being manipulated? And if anybody has been manipulated or is the most easily to be manipulated, it's women of all races. Men are not easily manipulated. If anything, they're manipulated by the women that they love. We don't love Kaya. I never even heard of her. I just started seeing people talk about her. But I don't even follow pages with twerking and all. That shit don't do nothing to me. But to say that men are manipulated by it because they like to see a girl dance and cook, They're not manipulated. That's just something that men like. They like to see pretty women. They like to see cute women, and they like to eat. You put one and one, two together. Who's manipulated? Y'all are easily manipulated. Y'all let Kamala manipulate you by saying she cooks collard greens, fried chicken, and likes hot sauce. Is that not the epitome of manipulation? Terrence, what up, bro? Peace.
Good
I can't
evening.
hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What's going on, bro?
Ain't much. Specific to my response as far as what was valued, it really speaks to what's valued. And I don't think it's solely and only starts with the woman, right? And I say that because the things that are valued are showcased by men, right? Cooking with Kaya became a big issue. Why did that become a big issue, right? We look at what's being promoted and what's extremely marketable online, all the ass shaking and all of these different things. Who's that being marketed to? You know what I'm saying? And if the money's coming in by the droves, you know, it would financially make sense to denigrate. I don't know if denigration is the right word, but to put self out there in a way that's objectifying the body, right? So a lot of the entertainment and a lot of the value is placed on just that. So if a woman's going out there and is paying X amount of dollars just to take a picture, that's based on how she values that man. Well, what's his image? You know what I'm saying? What's his finances like? What's his social standard like? Right. So I think it's a key indicator of what's being taught and what's being taken in.
I mean, I think it's a given that we live in a materialistic world. We live in a sexualized world. That's a given. My point is the outcry from Black women, and when they choose to have an issue with something and when they choose not to. Twerking has been something that has been accepted and pushed in the world by them. No one's making them do that. Mm-hmm. And that has been something that I've seen Black women push back against. If you say, yo, shouldn't twerk, let her do that, she can do that. I see Black women twerking at graduations. I see Black women twerking at funerals, weddings, restaurants. So obviously twerking is not something that's causing other Black women to call Black women out. So I'm not saying it's good or wrong, right or wrong. I'm saying I'm looking at contradictory behavior and selective outrage. Because if it's about twerking, why weren't you offended when they was twerking in front of the White House? Why weren't you offended when they was twerking at that man's restaurant? Why weren't you offended when they brought strippers and using twerking to get your man to vote for the Democratic Party? I didn't hear nobody saying nothing about it. Mm-hmm. But now that a woman is choosing to use twerking as a segue for cooking, now it's a bad thing. Twerking is twerking. Ratchet is ratchet. So we already got the twerking part established. Right. But she's using twerking with doing something as wholesome as making a meal. They're using twerking as something to divert or to affect your social engineering. Vote for this one, vote for that one. She ain't say vote. She just say, I'm gonna cook for your man. Is it ratchet? Yeah. But our women don't have a problem with ratchet. So why you have a problem with this ratchet? What's the difference between what she's doing and the rest of them doing? The only difference is one thing. She's doing something for a man. That's it. Because twerking has been accepted by our women. So don't be mad at her if you're not going to be mad at women that's twerking for no reason, that got music that's telling you to drug a man, that's got music that's telling you to take advantage of him. If he ain't got no money, fuck him. If twerking for those messages is cool, then what's wrong with twerking to cook? I don't care about none of this shit. I'm just looking back and saying, okay, they mad. Sometimes they not mad at this, but they mad at that. It's an inconsistency of outrage. Be mad at all of it, but they're not. Like this woman in the chat, still thinking that we don't know that it's not ratchet. No, it's not okay. It's not about what we like. It's about what you have a problem with. That's what I'm saying. Like they don't even care what we got to say. She don't even get what we're saying. She think that I'm trying to say that, oh, it's cool to twerk. No, what I'm saying is all of y'all are twerking. So why is this woman so much of a nuisance and such a problem and such a disturbance to the psyche of the black woman, as opposed to these other women twerking senselessly or for a political agenda, which has way more ramifications than somebody making some potato salad?
So if I
do that make sense?
Yeah, if I understand, but I want to make sure that I'm understanding the message. It's the twerking is secondary, right? The primary,
they all doing that.
The primary is the man, right? And is it? Are you saying that women would rather choose the path of not bringing some sort of value, i.e., cooking in the kitchen, which is causing outrage, or is it the fact that she's saying, "I'm gonna take your man"?
I mean, I don't think she even mean it in that. I think the way she's saying it is more of a marketing thing. And I don't think there's real energy behind her saying it. I think it's very lighthearted. Shout out to Sean and White School. Peace. I think it's very lighthearted. But like I said, they pick and choose when the twerking is an issue. If it's about twerking, then there's plenty of other women they would have came against for just twerking. They didn't, because it's not about the twerking. It's about her having the nerve to say she's going to do something for a black man that you may not do. In the era where they're saying you ain't got to cook, you ain't got to be a pick-me, he can do that. I think it's about that. I think because if it was about twerking, they would be mad at everybody who twerks. They're not mad at anybody that twerks. They're mad at this girl because she's twerking for your man in a place that you're telling women they don't even need to be in no more. That's just my opinion. These are not facts, but from what I'm observing, that's what it seems to me.
So she twerking for their man?
That's what she said. She said, you better cook. She said, you better cook for your man before I do it. It's like a little catchphrase. So now black women like, oh my God.
Well, that's the problem right there. You're right. It's not about the twerking. It's about the fact that she's setting up competition. Black women don't like competition, or at least they act like they don't like competition. And that's part of the biggest issue that they have. They compete with everything, but don't like competition.
They want to compete with us, they want to compete to be men, not women.
They compete with women.
Challenging them to be women. They rather compete with us and show us how much manly they can
compete with women.
They want to compete with you in the boardroom. They want to compete with you scholastically. They want to compete with you in the boxing ring, but they don't want to compete with other women to see who could be the most feminine of the two. They don't want to do that. But like I said, I don't know what this woman talking about in the chat. You can hit the link. You ain't got to keep typing. Hit the link. Come share your thoughts. Come on the Summer Jam screen. I'm not even highlighting your shit no more because I done seen you talk in other chats. You a SBG gang affiliate. So anybody that's supporting that fool, I can't take you serious no way. And I could be wrong, but I could have sworn I seen you over there pushing and rooting him on. So take that shit over there. All I'm saying is this. It's not about the twerking. Black men have made it clear we don't like that shit. But black women don't care what we think. Not all of y'all, because we got the White School podcast. Shout out to you. She's not like that. So it's not all black women, but a lot of them have proven that what we think about how they dress, how they dance, does not matter to them. You know what I'm saying?
Speaks to an undertone, though. There's an underlying, there's a surface that's we're putting over a blanket, right? Because there's one thing being articulated, but it's another where the action goes, right? So it's like the words don't follow the footprints. Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't like twerking. Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't like the way she dressed, but I'm gonna go online and like every single thing that contradicts what's coming out of my mouth. Excuse me. Or stare at another woman walking down the street that's looking a little bit more seductive. You know what I mean? So I think there's an underlying tone of it's just a blanket, right? I'm gonna say this out loud, but the actions that reflect behind the scenes is something completely different. And I think that's what the women are picking up on and have been. It's just that now, excuse me, Jesus, with social media, right? And everything whispering across this world so quickly, it's being called to the forefront.
I mean, how many men you know are taking whores and making them their wives. I'm not talking about athletes. I'm not talking about entertainers, because women like to say those arguments, but it's like in real life, those women are not getting married. Men always going to look at somebody that's begging to be stared at. If you coming outside with your breasts hanging and your ass hanging out and I go like this, that doesn't mean I want that so bad. You're making a spectacle out of yourself, and I noticed it. Women love to say that as in, see, men always look, of course they is. If a man come outside dripped in jewelry dangling, tatted up, 6'4", muscle bound with his shirt off, if my girl looked that way, do that mean she's advocating for that, or was it just a spectacle to see? You're gonna look. Looking is one thing. Paying their bills, flying them out, making them their wife, making them the mother of their children is totally different.
Yeah,
I think women need to stop. To me, that excuse is, that shit don't fly with me. Men are always gonna look at a sexual, men are visual creatures. If you're saying that, because I seen my man look at a hoe, that means they like hoes, that's just ignorant, and that's just a petty argument. Men are always gonna look at a woman that's putting herself out there. That's just a natural reaction. People gonna look at anything that garners attention. You see somebody fighting, you gonna look. That's small, especially on the internet when it's just everywhere. Yeah, you gonna look. You might like men are men. We're gonna look. We're gonna like. That don't mean I'm in a strip club making it rain, though. That don't mean I'm gonna make her my wife. And most of the time when women are talking about these women, they're talking about the small group of these highly successful, financially strong men that can have a pick of the litter. And they're picking a sexually or a little sex kitten, because women are comparing all men to this small little list that they're into. And men follow and listen to them and think that, oh yeah, I get what they're saying. No, they chasing after Chris Brown and them, and that's what Chris Brown and them want. And since it doesn't work out for them, they make the everyday man be punished for what the small list of men are looking after. The average man is not chasing after no Instagram model to make her his wife. Because he likes a picture doesn't mean that.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But how do you explain away a multi-billion-dollar corn industry?
You said what?
How do you explain away a multi-billion-dollar corn industry?
You said multi-billion-dollar cornage?
That is a vice.
I mean, that's
and that is a person's addiction. That's nothing to do with a woman that look good, because anybody can go. I can go get everything sucked out and pumped up to look just like them, but that's feeding to a person's vices and addictions. That's nothing to just like a natural woman that is a attractive. You know what I'm saying?
But it plays into the narrative I'm trying to paint here, right?
Or that's true.
Both. Right. So when we look at what's being marketed, when we look at the actions that are taking place, a multi-billion-dollar industry wouldn't exist, right, without action or money to flow through it. Okay. That is a direct line to what, in my opinion, men are probably the primary source of finance, right? I can't think of the word right now. Driving that industry. And if that is the case,
but I don't believe that though.
Yeah,
that's not true. I don't think men are the primary source driving that, or the primary source that could even facilitate that.
Well,
that came from another race of people.
Well, let's just
and
say
porn today is, to me, porn is something that's every demographic, male, female, white, black. I don't think that's a man-driven industry. I think that's really a female-driven industry, because they're the stars of porn. It's not men, it's women. And it's women that watch porn a lot. You know what I'm saying? And men can make that argument. There's a market for crack too.
I mean, that's what I was
There's a market for heroin. I can sell that shit too. Is that my fault? Because I'm just going with the market. The market said I want crack. I can sell crack too.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna actually use that example as far as drugs, addictions. You know, you said marketing.
The streets is marketed primarily through music.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Primarily, you said marketing. Corn doesn't get marketed that often. If you think about it, it's not marketed. the acts and what's going on, sexuality and sex is marketed. But corn, where do you see these advertisements for corn?
Whoa. It doesn't have to
I
be
can't
that
hear
way.
you. Okay.
It doesn't have to be something that's directly thrown in your face.
Hold on, I can't hear you.
I can hear him.
All right, so it doesn't have to be something that's directly thrown in your face, right? Like I seldomly go through and scroll, oh, she's got a nice body, she's got a nice body, but it's constantly advertised through the algorithm, constantly, right? And I'm not speaking corn in general, like you're just going to see a naked woman there, but the sexual nature of a woman's body is outlined right there in your face. I can guarantee anybody can go on Instagram right now, click on that little search button. What primarily pops up, right? And then when we look at kids who get on this social media, right? All the curiosity in the world. That's when things like the addiction starts. So I'm not negating the Wife School podcast. And what's your name, ma'am?
Stephanie.
Stephanie. My name is Terrence, right? I'm not negating that addiction, but that's where it starts, and that's where you start building up that whatever it is for when you get older, to when you do make money, to say, oh, I like that. Click. Oh, I can get more.
I mean, I don't think the addiction is corn. The addiction is sex. And the perversion comes into it. Sex is something that's natural, and that's what you get addicted to. It's similar to any other drugs, I was going to use the example, marijuana, nicotine, alcohol. It isn't the like the bar isn't the issue. You know, the bar isn't the issue. When you talk about alcoholism, it's the actual need for that substance.
But
Go ahead.
Yeah, here's the thing with that though, right? With the easy access to corn, it takes away from the male desire to go out and actually speak with a woman.
That's not true. That's not true. Because
Bro, do you know how many times I hear guys don't approach me anymore? And
I mean that's not because of corn.
Yeah, that's not because of that.
Yeah, can I jump in there real quick?
I would agree that sexual the over sexuality that's going on in this society, especially here in America right now, is added to it. You know, we got a lot of elements that contribute to that. We have entertainment elements. We have corn, as you just described. We have a lot of different entities that contribute to it. The thing that you're saying, and I agree with, is that because of social media, we have a lot more accessibility. But what I was going to say is that prior to social media, corn was still there, and it was still significant, and you still had a thriving industry before social media. So social media, as to your point, did increase it, and it does give you more, but that's not the engine of it. You know, it's been going on way before we had any social media. We have I live in California. We have had a corn industry way before hip hop, way before social media, way before a lot of other things. Now, to your point, it has increased. I agree, but everything has increased because of social media, the access that we have.
Right.
And I want to say this, and I want you to jump in there, Stephanie, because I think we find we and I respect what you're saying, Terrence, because it seems like, oh, we beating on the women. The women fought for equality, and I love to say this. They fought to be on the same level of playing field of income, but they don't want to be on the same playing field of accountability. If they're, because I like to hold up their conversation that they bring up. I'm not going to hold you accountable to my standard. I'm going to hold you accountable to the one you brought up. You said you're just like me. You're just as responsible as me. You're just as intelligent as me. You should earn the same amount of money as me. So we cannot keep blaming what they're into on what men are buying. No, because if a man is a trick, no one's going to say, well, she's a victim for taking. No, they're going to say, well, why did you offer her the money? So no one's making these women start these OnlyFans accounts. No one's making them do that. They are choosing to do that. They can go to school. They can become a CNA. They're taking a path of least resistance because they want to do it because this society has afforded them to do so. There's no one's fault to do that. These women are choosing to do that. When they start their Instagram accounts, no one makes them take these pictures and poses. And we can't keep saying because the man is liking it, that's why they're doing it. So it's the man's fault because he don't have to like it. A man is going to like to look at a woman, just like a woman is going to love a man to pay her bills. That's just our nature. We want sexuality. They want provision. So anybody that's flaunting provision, they're going to attract women who want that. Any woman that's flaunting sexuality, it's a natural reaction for men to want that. But at the same time, we can absolve them from participating in the debauchery. When men get on the corner and say, I'm going to sell drugs, even though drugs is pushed by the government, even though Big Pharma takes advantage of drugs and a lot of corruption by the cops, he still knows if he does that, no one's going to say, well, hey, they're going to say, bro, you ain't have to do that. If a woman wants to put her body on the internet, that's what she chose to do, regardless of who likes it, regardless of who retweeted. It's about what you look at in the mirror when you go home every day. You have a choice. You don't have to strip because somebody's willing to pay for it. This is a weird world. People are willing to pay for anything.
Absolutely.
I've seen dudes who pay for feet pics. There's people that have to pay you to fart in their face. People will do anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at some point, the participant has to become accountable for what they're choosing to be a part of. No one's making these women do anything. They want to twerk. They want to show the curves of their behind. It's women that's 50, 60 years old that's twerking online. I don't hear nobody saying shit. There's a man on my father. There's a woman I recently found her page, and Stephanie coming after this. Her page is just dedicated to clapping her ass. She got 20 days of clapping. All she was, every post just, no. Who's making her do that? See, today is an era where you're challenged to be a better person because it's so. If you're a beautiful woman, it's a challenge to be enlightened or to live at a higher level because everything in this world is telling you that you don't have to do nothing but be sexy. It's easy. So a woman has to be very mature, very enlightened, and very cultured to go against the grain because everything in this world is telling them that if you're just sexy, if you got a nice body, all you gotta do is start a social media page and the world is yours. It doesn't have to be that way,
right?
But we can't absolve them for what they're doing. That's what they're choosing to do. But go Stephanie, go ahead.
What was I saying? What responded to?
No. If you just want whatever.
Oh yeah, it's really bad. I think even like just going back to Kevin Samuels, like the women that called in, right? Even me, I did call into the show, like, but not, with an entitled mind. But some women, they think that they're this valued, like I'm a 20, like they're overvalued, like nobody could tell them nothing. So this is how I lived and curated my life, and this is whatever. So when you get somebody that speaks reality to you, like, no, sis, you're not it. It's like it's a big issue. So and who is the consumer? The men. The men are the consumers. They're the ones that control the access to the relationship, that will tell you, well, I wouldn't marry you, but like you said, you're gunning for the men that make the money, but they don't necessarily want you because they have to pick it a little. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're being sold and marketed to that we can do all these things with no accountability and nothing, is going to harm you, and no taps on the wrist. But yet it's messing up everything. And the guys are telling you, we don't like this. We don't want this. But yet they're listening. I don't know who they're listening to, first of all, because it's just so bad. And it's like, okay, now like then you get the stripping on the pole, and like, where does this stuff become acceptable? Because I don't remember anything like this back in the day. You know what I'm saying? It's like, where have we devolved to? And even somebody saying, I'm gonna take your man. It ain't no way possible that this little young lady is going to take 5,000, 4,000 men all at once. It's just not going to happen realistically.
I mean, Trey Songz said, it's Mr. Steal Your Girl. And I see thousands of women at the concert. Ah, Trey. So it's cool when they say it. It's cool when they really could do it. She can't do that shit.
I've seen that.
My thing is this, Terrence.
Grandma, I can see your grandma, the old guy, the Silver Fox dude. Well, he's a very handsome man, but I don't think that the men are gonna go that. I just think, like, I got on Israel's show the other day, and I was just saying, I said, well, I just think it's a reminder of, or an indicator of what the men want. You know what I'm saying? I think they're really wanting some aspects of a traditional woman that's showing the affection to them. You know what I'm saying? I just think that they're craving that, or just some spice up, or like, hey, you used to do all these things, but now you don't really look at me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, men, they want to be admired and admonished and things like that, listened to, understood. That's why we see other people like snatching up our guys, our men, our average men. You know what I'm saying? And we're not doing that. We're not using our femininity in that way to keep them happy, to keep them satisfied. And we go sexless, we go attentionless, and we do that. And so when something pops up like this and is going viral and she's not really doing much, I've seen worse. And it's sparking something that's lacking in them that they're not doing, because you wouldn't be contentious. I mean, her food looks good. I would understand if it looked like trash, but the food looked good. She's cute, and she's really not doing much. And even if the twerking, if you really look at it, it was only for like 2 seconds. But like you said, it's not about that. It really is about that the men like this thing. And I was like, you know what? I've seen some women, I love how they twisted it. Like, they did their own cooking at home with their man, and they got all like spiced it up for them and fed him. He's like, this is good. So it's not like that you can't do it. You can definitely do it. She's not.
Yeah, because let's be real. It's black women that made twerking acceptable. We didn't. That's not something we did. Yeah. They made it the go-to thing. So why is this one so worse than the others? What's the difference? It's like when you watch the old show, which one of these is not? It's like the process of eliminations. If they're all twerking, some are twerking more explicitly. You think the main issue they got with her is twerking? It can't be, because they twerk all the time. Yeah, it's because
even on the grave sites, didn't they do it?
Catering to black men.
Site? I was like, y'all done went to the left now.
They celebrated. They twerked for Biden when he won the first time. They twerked in front of the White House. They actually think about it. Let's just go.
They twerked it in church. They said, "Get low for Jesus." I said, you know what?
Yeah. Just think about this, right? Let's just show you the hypocrisy. A lot of women, when I listen to a lot of black women, they was anti-Trump because of some sexual remarks he made. We all know, grab him by the peep. So a lot of women took that statement and they pushed for, he's not an advocate for the safety of women. He's a sexual deviant. And that could be true. But on the flip side, the person who beat him was Biden. And the song that you use to celebrate a victory is a sexually self-objectifying song, which shows you that these arguments that they pick are not genuine arguments. They just pick them just to argue, because if they really stood for it, why would you say, I'm not voting for him because he's sexually assaults women, but I'm going to celebrate his loss by sexually objectifying myself? So obviously sexual objectification isn't your issue. It's a man that you don't agree with, or a man getting something that you don't think he deserves. That's their point of contention. Not the act of twerking, not the act of being assaulted. Even when I was on whatever, they did a poll of the top 10 sexual fantasies of women. What was the number one fantasy of women? What do y'all think it was?
I don't know, but can we I just want to add this point. Can we just come to the conclusion that there are a lot
I'm saying, but real quick, what y'all think it was though? We can go to what you're saying, but what y'all think the number one sexual fantasy of women was?
I already answered that. I said I don't know.
So what you think, Terrence White? What y'all think it was? The number one sexual fantasy of women.
sleeping with somebody else. I don't know.
Nope. Terrence, what you think?
Probably sound.
You said probably what?
Something with sound.
Say that again one more time. I'm sorry.
Something with sound.
The number one fantasy was to be sexually forced and raped. That was the number one fantasy of women.
That's crazy.
Go figure.
I mean,
so what I'm trying to expose is an inconsistency in argument. I'm not saying twerking is right. I can't stand it. I think it's disgusting. I think it's something that should be done in front of your man. I don't think it's something that should be done publicly.
Right, absolutely.
But obviously what I think and what a lot of men think don't matter to women. So fuck what I think. I'm gonna hold you accountable to your own thoughts. You have made twerking the new black fist. So don't be mad when a woman decides to add catering to her twerking. Be mad at all of them. Be mad at the ones that twerk for WAP. Be mad at the ones that twerk to leave their man for Chris Brown and all of that. I just want to hear consistent perspective, consistent argument. It's just not consistent. Some days twerking is cool, sometimes not. It's like whenever a man is being pushed and a man is being prioritized, that's when they get turned off. It's not about the twerking. That's my main argument. They just mad because somebody's catering to men. But go ahead, Sean.
I think you have a valid point, but let's just dig deeper to the root of a lot of this stuff.
Say that again?
I said let's dig deeper to the root of a lot of this stuff because
Let's go.
First and foremost, people are really selfish and or spoiled.
Both.
And I'm not just talking women, but we are seeing that that's our subject right now. Very spoiled, very selfish because they're spoiled. They just want what they want. And that's what it boils down to. And to get what they want, they manipulate. And part of the manipulation is the seductive manners that they're portraying.
Okay.
I see.
I have to be seductive, or do I just have to lie to you? It don't have to be seduction.
That's manipulation. You can seduce through a lie.
Okay.
You can seduce, however, you can seduce through lie. You can seduce through sex. You can seduce, but the seduction is still in play. You're trying to seduce your way into getting what you want.
So, question.
Yeah, I already said that.
Where is the seduction given power?
You said who the seduction gives power to?
Your weakness.
The weakness. What is the weakness?
It's your human fallen nature that has been.
I agree with you, but
food. It could be.
I agree with you, but I mean that's in the music industry, we always had a saying: find the person's vice, and feed it to them. So the point being is that you're right. That's part of the manipulation is identifying that. It could be sex, which is very prominent right now. It could be drugs. It could be money. There's a lot of things that drive a person to be weak, so to speak. So I mean that we can go deep into that. It's if I identify your weakness and I fed it, would I have an advantage over you?
I mean, we want to get to the bottom of it, and we're gonna have more shows for that. The bottom of it is the wealth gap, social engineering, and cultural displacement.
Mm-hmm.
Our people don't have the resources, so they're gonna do things that may not be conducive to most morally sound thing, just to make money because we don't have it. So women are gonna sell their body, men are gonna sell drugs, men are gonna rap. We're all gonna do things that we may not normally do because we need money.
So
that's a given.
So then what you're saying,
go ahead,
is
Tom.
monetary.
Yeah, it's all everybody's trying to eat, but that's all of us. But in the midst of that, there's too many narratives that's putting men in a certain box that's just not true. It's like we all trying to make money, but like I said, it's about equality. You can't fight for equality, but then don't want to deal with the ramifications of equality, which is not just being able to make as much money as the man, but deal with the level of accountability that men have to deal with. In other words, we black men, We may not have never been in prison. May have never raped anybody, abused anybody, beat anybody up, robbed anybody. But that doesn't mean you don't have to deal with the collateral damage of that stereotype. As men, we understand that when we leave the house. We don't act oblivious to it, but women do. Why you think, why not? I just seen somebody look just like you that said some dumb shit. I just seen somebody look just like you that did this goofy shit. She went to the same church you went to. She went to the same. So why are you not so taken aback by the collateral damage of your social group? That's what being accountable means. You want to be on equal footing? That's what it looks like. That means you got to deal with all of it, not just the perks of being a man, which is the money and starting a business, but the collateral damage of being compared to your gender group, whether you did it or not. Welcome to the real world. And so when I see women who have a problem with that issue, I can't respect it. This is what you fought for. They just want the perks of manhood. They don't want the responsibility of it.
Right.
So, question is, do y'all see the man being leader?
Yes.
Yes.
If you know that's your role, if you know that's your identity and your God-given identity, yes. Right. If I know that's your role and I know that's your God-given identity, then yes. But what Illa was saying is that people are being lenient with these bad behaviors. So now he's saying I have to compete with these people when they supposedly said they recognize, I love you, black man. I love you, black man. You remember that campaign? And then they say, I don't need a man. You're like, okay, I'm confused because last week you just said, I love you, black man.
Yeah, because they want you to vote. They love you to vote.
But this wasn't even a presidential thing. But it just was, I don't know, like you said, wish-washy, unstable. But it was like just going back to when you were airing the Fox Soul thing. It was like you have a man who's like, okay, I'm smart. I got these things. I've been around. Okay, I want to take an actionable plan to move our people forward. Okay, I'm going to try to do this. And, I'm just going to present it to these women. They have a platform. So let's get this message out. And so they should have been like, all right, Ice Cube, you're doing your thing. We're here for you. But he was met with, what's in it for me? But actually, you are in it. But he has to do what he has to do to get us there. You know what I'm saying? You have to let him lead. You have to say, okay, I designate you the leader and I will follow. Not that I'm going to compete and pull and tug on you and give you so much trouble that now the plan doesn't work or it's set back another 5 or 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's all the workings are there for our men to lead, but we have to be on board with them because we can only go as far as our women. So if we're acting, we are restrained and holding back we're not going to get far.
And I'm going to keep it real with you, Terrence. Do I think, you said, do I think men are leaders today?
Yeah.
They have the potential to be leaders, but they're not leaders because they don't want to. They're tired of it.
And I don't
think they're leaders today because they don't feel like they're leading. They don't feel like they have a constituent that wants to follow. So no, they're not leaders today, but not because they don't have the ability, not because they don't have the capability. They've realized that the person that they're trying to lead is not really trying to follow. And I think that the modern woman was taught to be a leader. She's not conducive with following. And a lot of men were raised to be followers. It's like they did Trading Places. They raised these docile, passive, soft gentlemen and these aggressive, ambitious women. And now they're trying to meet each other in the middle, and it just doesn't work. She has a masculine mindset. You have this romantic ass mindset, and it just is causing this clash. So no, you're right. They're not leading. But why they're not leading is because they don't want to be led.
Well, can I answer that question? You said, are men leaders? First off, that's too broad of a question. Just because you're a man don't make you a leader. Leaders, there's leaders, and that takes a certain type of skill. And then there's also, what are you leading? If you're leading your children, you're a leader. If you're leading your household, your woman, you're a leader. If you're leading a company, you're a leader. If you're leading, so there's certain tiers of leadership. And just because you're a man doesn't make you a good leader. Just the same way, just because you're a woman doesn't make you a good nurturer. So we often use that statement, leaders, and we we generalize it when in fact we got to be more specific. Yes.
Fair.
Can a man be a leader? Yes. Does he make a good leader because he's supposed to be the leader? No. That doesn't make him a good leader because he's supposed to be the head of the house, quote unquote, as tradition says in a lot of different religious and cultures. But let's say they do give him that authority of leadership. The question is, does that make him a good leader? No. Just because you have the authority, just because you're deemed to be the king because of the authority of lineage doesn't make you a good king. Just because you're deemed to be the father because you've had you've impregnated someone doesn't mean that you're going to be a good father. So
I want to play this clip for you, Terrence, because to me this is an example of an attempt at leadership and how it was taken. This is a small example, but it's still an example. And then after this, you could reply. This Ice Cube. I don't know if you've seen this clip, but you probably have. This Ice Cube. This is about a few years ago, and he had a plan called the Plan for Black America. He reached out to a lot of prominent Black thinkers like Claude Anderson, and he called up on a all Black woman show, Cocktails with the Queen, and said the Republican Party reached out to me and the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party said, we'll help implement your plan after we get in office. He said the Republican Party said, we'll start implementing your plan right away. So he started talking to them. So he said, yes, a plan for Black America, and if I say Black America, you'll think of Black men, Black women, Black men, Black women, and Black boys and Black girls. Correct, Terrence? That's all encompassing. So this is what the women said.
No, that's not true.
They're pretty much all the same when it comes to a president and dealing with our situation.
So I gotta ask this question. Because you're on this show with Cocktails with the Queen, and there's a reason for that. It wasn't to have you defend or not defend Donald Trump. It was about, I care about what's in this contract with Black America for women, and it's not, we're not mentioned at all in the contract with Black America. And
when you mention Black people, you mentioning Black women. So don't count yourself out.
No, that's not true. That's like administration say that when they
Black people is not Black women. Black women are not included in Black people.
No, that's what he's saying. That's like when the president says minorities, then he's including Black people. But we all know that that's not the case. Black women have specific needs that are not also being met. And we also feel that there should be some things that are specific to us and our plight as well.
So what movement have Black men in the history of this country ever started? The real ones. You got the Black Panthers, you got the NOI. What movement that was started by Black men never included Black women? They all did. Any social change that Black men brought to America always included the entire race. But when you got a group of women that will respond that way, Terrence, that deters men from leading them. They don't even care. They said, it doesn't matter. We have a specific group of perspective that we need special attention above the rest of the community. You can't lead a group like that. And I don't think all women think like that. But the women that do think like that, you can't lead them, bro. Because he's trying to lead them. He said, yo, this is for all of it. They say, no, that's not good enough. They want that's what I'm saying. It's not about, I feel like when Black men had the ball, as far as we were in the face of the civil rights movement, we was always not just pushing for Black men and Black women. We was pushing for the world, man. The Black Panthers said Black power to Black people, brown power to brown people, and white power to white people. So Black men, when they have the ball, are always thinking about the world. Black women are thinking about Black women. Well, so they fought to be on this level playing field of comparison, but it doesn't add up to the responsibility of that leadership. They only focus on themselves and not the group. So how can a group that's so used to doing for the whole, how can they lead a group that's only concerned with themselves?
Yeah, and I think some of the language that's used is dangerous, quite like what we just heard and what was just spoken. And here's why, right?
Hold up, which language was used by who? That's dangerous.
As far as Black women aren't incorporated in Black people because we have our
They
own
just said, but I'm just saying, based on that clip, what else? Which can you call it?
Or Black women only care about Black women and not the world. And here's,
but based on that clip, what can you surmise from that clip?
I mean, just that from those two individuals. But the hypocrisy came into place when it was acknowledged that there's only that sector versus other women, right? So that was acknowledged. My point here is, though, within our system, within our nation, we went through 400 years of the most egregious things in this world, right? And Black women had to overcome a lot. Likewise, so did Black men. But it just so happened everything was designed to strip away the Black man from the family, which left the Black woman to raise these kids by themselves. Hence, what we now see is this independence movement, the power movement, right? And rightfully so. I think it's absolutely necessary and a good thing, right? Now, if men are
hold on. Time out. So you saying that this new women independent movement is a good thing? That's what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay, how is it a good thing?
Because we're in a different age now. Women are making their own money, right? Before, where the man was the primary breadwinner, it wasn't a requirement for intellectual stimulation. There wasn't a requirement for, there wasn't a requirement for the intellectual stimulation. There wasn't a requirement for
when are you referring to?
Bear with me. Let me finish up. For a Renaissance man, so to speak, because the need and the necessity for the finances was put on the man, the primary breadwinner, right? What we're seeing now, as far as the increased degrees, I don't even want to say increase in pay, but the higher, more women in the workforce making money, right? There isn't a necessity for women to do these things, right? So when I ask the question, are men leaders, right? It's just that. Has there been an adapted state of mind to understand this woman is making her own bread?
Who
right?
cares?
But that's the thing. And that's a part of the problem. Who cares?
Because
men
money aside from money,
a woman making money,
not who you are as a person, as a character.
I'm not denying that. I'm not
okay,
denying
so why are you making that?
Well, the issue is
let him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead. Land the plane.
And the next question is going to be, why was that a trigger? But let me unpack this, right? So if the man is normally the breadwinner and providing stability for the household, and all of a sudden you have a woman that's now bringing in money, there isn't a requirement for that man because she's able to do it on her own. People value what they require, right? So check it out. So if the man is supposed to lead, but doesn't know how to communicate with his woman, right? Doesn't know how to effectively communicate with his woman in this new state, that's a problem.
Terrence, okay. I hear this often, and it drives me crazy, simply because money is not the only source of provision, and you need to understand that.
Agreed.
And the reason why I say that is because we agree to it, but then we sit there and we emphasize that women are making money. That's why I said, who cares? It's not about the provision that the money is providing. It's about the leadership that you was just describing that is absent. It's about the presence that is absent. The provision that is given is more than money. But the problem is that with women, and we are now advocating it, is that we're emphasizing that money is the only thing necessary, and that has replaced the substance that you were describing. The Renaissance definitely was there. The mind was definitely there. We had before we had getting money, we had to find different ways to be able to maneuver through the things that were challenging us as a people. We had to come together because we had no choice. We had to rely on each other because we had no choice but to do so. So circumstances allowed the unity, allowed the trust that helped us soar to the levels that gave the opportunity for women to make money. The money didn't do it. It was the trust and the community, the communing with one another that did it.
I'm waiting to hear where there's a disagreement. I haven't heard it yet.
Well, the disagreement is that you're emphasizing that women are now making money, and that is something that we should put into the equation. When you can change the condition, but the mindset is what's the problem. You are changing a condition with the money. You're changing a condition, but you still have the twerk mentality. You still have the competitive mentality. You still have the rebellious mentality. That does not add to the collective of our community growing. You have the
giving women more money to me hasn't made them better women. That's why when men bring it up, it's like, I get it. It's giving them a sense of independence. It's giving them a sense of choice to say, I don't have to deal with you, man, because I don't need I can make money. But we can say the same thing. You think the same thing that women provided in the 60s and the men provided, neither one of us needed. I don't need no woman to clean my clothes. I got to wash and dry right here. I don't need her to cook. So we could both play that I don't need you game. That's why it's not about money, and it's about who we are on the inside. So my question is, how has them making more money made them better women in a natural, organic interaction? How is your income making you a better wife, making you more conducive to my masculine energy? Can you answer that for me?
I can't answer that question because I'm not a woman, but I think that speaks to the
law. Just from observation. From your observation, how do you see how that can make a woman a better wife?
But you just implied, maybe I'm wrong, that it does.
Yeah.
So how can you saying it does? Then tell me how.
No.
Question.
Yeah. No. What I'm implying is there's a shift in value, right? There's a shift in value. So if there's
what are we valuing? Money.
All right. So I'll try and reemphasize, right? If the man's making money and the woman is not, she is provided a stable foundation, right? We have the house, we have all these different things. All you need to do is cater to the home, right? If you don't cater to the home, me as a man can say, hey, you're gone, you have nothing. So finances for the woman at that point, from a man's position, is extremely valuable. We got that. Now that she's making more money, that changes. So it needs to be brought into the equation, right? That's not saying money is all. That's not saying money is everything. That speaks to the mind and where the value is placed. If the man is growing up expecting a woman to have him make more money so she can live, that's not the case anymore because she's bringing it in on her own, right? What do we hear now? What plan do you have? How can you lead me to where I need to go? Or is it, brother, I'm doing better than you on all avenues?
Why would she leverage that against him? That's not.
And I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm speaking to the current state. I'm just.
I see what you're trying to say, because I say this oftentimes too. I tell Brenda, I tell brother, I said, listen, women are different now. They're able to make money, so your money is not necessarily what's going to entice them. But when I talk to my female friends, what they need from a man, they're not asking for him until it's too late. So this emotion, because you're talking about men need to be more in depth now, because money is not the bargaining chip. It's your emotional intelligence. It's how, what your library look like. What can you feed me mentally?
Stimulation, the mental stimulation.
However, most women, the more money they make, the more they ask, more money they ask for you. So what you're saying makes sense, but they don't do that. You would think that the fact that they make more money, that will make them focus on the things a man can do that money can't buy, but it doesn't. I have female friends that say, I tell them all the time, I said, listen, did you ask him in the beginning, what's his political views? What's his views on spirituality? What's his library like? And they all say the same thing. No. What they're looking at, how much money he make, taking me this place and that place. So them making more money is not making them more feminine minded for dating. It's making them more materialistic. So they get with these men because I make 100,000, so he needs to make 100,000. So it's like, yeah, he do make 100,000, but guess what? He don't read shit. He doesn't have those intrinsic values that you need later. So what you're saying, it makes sense. Men should step up to want more, but the problem is women are not asking for more of the man. They're asking. The more money women make, the more money they asking for you. You would think that they would say, I got the money already, brother. I need you to feel these other things, but that's not what they're doing.
That's why I led with across the panel who believes men are the leaders, right? Because if a man's a leader, he's going to show up who he is regardless. That's if it's in him to provide that spiritual guidance, right? If it's in him to provide the intellectual stimulation, it shouldn't require her to ask for it to be provided, because that's who he is. That's who he is. So to place the onus on the woman, I can't stand behind, because once it is, that's shifting the narrative, saying I'm in control as a man, I am the leader as a man, right? But it takes you to lead for me to be a man. And it's all
this why I gotta push back on you though.
Terrence.
I'm definitely gonna hold on, Sean. I'm definitely gonna put it on the woman, because for one, there was no man in the house.
Up to a woman to do.
There was no man in the house. So he learned that from his mother. That's for one. For two, women, you're talking from an enlightened man who went beyond his circle, his social circumstance. And most people don't do that. What am I saying? What I'm saying is the average person, black, white, purple, male, female, they're going to do what's conducive and for what works in their social group. So for you, for Terrence, for Illa, for Sean, for Stephanie, for us to go outside our comfort zone was a sacrifice at the expense of being accepted. Everybody's not that strong. Most men are going to do what they see their social group accepts. Most women are not looking for those intrinsic values that me and you were talking about until they need them. They're looking for looks, status, and income. So unless that young man is strong enough to say, I'm not going to be accepted socially, I'm not going to be popular outside, I'm going to go against all of that to show her I'm a man, that's very rare. Most of them going to do what? Well, I seen her go with the blood. I seen her go with the Crip. I seen her go with the trap nigga. I seen her go with the dude that get the money. So am I going to become this thoughtful, free thinking man? Or am I going to follow that? They're going to follow that because the women are not asking for what me and you are providing. We just don't care. We say, listen, I know this what you think you want, but I'm establishing myself to know that I'm going to do what I know is right. But that takes a level of maturity, and that's rare. You're a special person. We're special. Everybody's not that special. Most people follow their social group. They do that with studies from animals to people. Everybody's not this special person that's going to go beyond the social requirements to just be on their own. Everybody not built like that. I was, but I was 1 in 1,000. Most people going to do what they see that's working. So women, you can only get what you put an onus on. Most women are not saying, hey, let me check out the last book you read. When I talk to my female friends, I say, have you ever asked the man what the last book you read? None of them said that. They're not thinking about his inside. They're thinking about he's cute, he can afford to take me out, and he not crazy. And they find out all that other shit later. They're not looking for that in the beginning. So why would young men focus on something that their female counterpart isn't valuing? They're not valuing that.
Yeah, Illa, what I was going to say, and Terrence got a point. Terrence got a point, but what I was going to say, it goes back to what I said the root of it is. First off, the selfishness that we got to really address. And that goes it's very prominent right now. But to your point, Terrence, women, we are leaders. Yes. And guess what? The women are just following us. They now are making money and doing the same foolish things that we did with money. We became selfish. We wanted to go ahead and get other families, and we want to disregard the community that we were trying to make the money for. We wanted to do it for ourselves, and now they're following suit. They're following suit, and we are allowing it and condoning it. It's talking about, oh, we're getting money. We got the money to educate. There's nothing a woman is doing right now, Black woman specifically, that a Black man did not already do. And she's following in the same footsteps and the same traps that we fell into that broke up our family structure. And now we're sitting here condoning it and saying and allowing them to manipulate, like, oh yeah, this is what we're supposed to do. No, that's why we failed in the first place. We became very selfish. We became very with the power. We became very power hungry. We became a lot of different things that added to the disconnection and the malfunction of the family structure. And now we're allowing women to try and do, and I'm recognizing it, they're following the same lead that we led. And we're sitting there saying, oh, yeah, go ahead and do it. Be empowered. Yeah, that's what got us punch drunk. And that's why we destroyed our family structure and added to the destruction of our family structure, because we chased the money and the money only and forgot about the other factors that help that we needed to build our community and our family. And that's what is missing right now. That's why I keep
can't pretend as if, like, growing up where I seen the conscious brother, like, even when it comes to hip hop, NWA, when they first came out, they had a song called Express Yourself. I don't smoke weed or sex because it's known to give a brother brain damage. Brain damage on the mic don't manage. No, you know, dropping jewels. The next Dr. Dre came out, the Chronic. He said, man, fuck all them black fish sticks, just that gangster glare, that gangster look. So once we seen that our people, male and female, and it's a lot of sisters, if they're not giving the blue collar brother love, they're not giving the scholar love, our people turned our back on those type of people, men and women. We turned our back on the scholar. So that's not what people are trying to duplicate. Me and you are just special people. We're saying, I don't learn to please people. I'm not a people pleaser. I learn because I genuinely have a curiosity to know. Nothing in my life, nothing in my social circle applauded me taking that path. I was a rebel in my circle. I was considered a rebel in where I lived at because no one was doing that. So I was going against the grain. The grain is get money, get fly, and, you know, don't be no sucker, be in these streets. That's the grain. So most brothers are not going to go against that because our community did not say this is what it is. If you go back to the 50s and 60s, you'll see a lot of brothers like that because our community embraced that. We stopped embracing that, and our women stopped embracing that. So what these brothers going to follow? They're going to follow what the women want. So we are both leaders in our own right.
So
women lead some things and men lead some things. Women tell men what they should be focused on outside. Men tell women what they should be focused on inside. So if being a street nigga is what these women are gonna go to, that's what these brothers gonna follow. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we both are leading each other rightly and incorrectly. But I just think historically, black men, when they had the ball, when they was in their right mind, was always doing things for the collective. I just feel like in recent years, where sisters have the ball, they have the influence, they have the, you know, they're making the money. I don't see them oftentimes pushing for things that are conducive to men and women. It's strictly just for women. And if it is for men, it's for men who are not into men, if we get to be honest. They don't seem to be pushing for anything that's not conducive to putting them on a pedestal, or men that's into different lifestyles. So even if men wanted to be leaders, it's hard to lead someone who doesn't want to be led.
And that was awesome, right? And I appreciate it. I definitely think there needs to be a wake-up call, especially in the messaging that's going out there, where
I agree wholeheartedly. Oh, go ahead, Terrence.
The accountability isn't solely and only pushed onto the woman, right? And I'm gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna hold on to that story because I truly believe if a man is stepping in through the gate saying, I'm leader, I'm big bad, you know what I'm saying, whatever, then anything that fails after that it falls on the man, right? There's no blame shifting at that point. If a general, the art of war by Sun Tzu, whatever, if a general is in charge of a group of troops, right, and somebody else comes along and says, hey, what's wrong with all of these troops? And that general blames the troops, he's getting removed from position and being replaced with somebody who can get everything in order. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day,
but this is the thing, though. Every woman has been empowered in America, not just black women, but every woman is making more money, but they're not having this problem with their man. So my thing is, and I think it's a difference between holding men accountable and just absolving women from all accountability. And I'm not saying you're doing that, but it seems like that. You can't not hold somebody accountable to what they asked for. They said we're the leaders when we don't need men. Once they said that, not all women, because this is not how all women feel. We're talking about the ones that's loud, that's proud, that's leading the narrative publicly. If that's what they said publicly, whatever happens to them is on them, because you said you don't need me. So that changes the whole leadership dynamic. It's up for grabs at this point, because you said you don't need me. And you said you don't need my influence, and you fight against any. We just showed you how just they didn't even care about Ice Cube's plan for black people. They just wanted to hear what's for them.
Right.
You can't lead something like that. That's why I feel like money hasn't made our women more feminine. It's made them more like us. And it's hard to lead something that's that masculine, but doesn't have the capabilities to do. Like, your troops could fight you back. She can't fight you. I don't have to explain I'm a leader. God made me a leader because I can physically do something to you that you can't do something to me. So the onus is always going to be on whether you're going to follow or not. Because I'm a leader whether I got more money than you, whether I got less money than you. I'm a leader because when push comes to shove, I have to put my body on the line for everybody in this house. So my leadership is divinely given to me. So what I'm saying is, once these women profess out their mouths as a generation that we don't need men, you have to hold them accountable to their statements. Because if not, then it's like what Mr. Let Go say, which I don't agree with. If we can't hold them accountable to their own statements, then they're children. And I don't think women are children. But if we're going by the logic you said, then they got to be kids, because they said that they don't need us. We didn't say that shit.
Not necessarily.
If you say they don't need me, how can I lead you?
Not necessarily. And here's why, right? When we were speaking about manipulation, or we were talking about a woman being independent, a man showing up who he is naturally going to attract, right, his people, right? Period. Likewise with a woman showing up as, and I'm specifically using these words, a man and woman showing up who she is going to attract her people and more, because she's a woman, right? Now, with that being said, if there's a woman that's pushing a certain narrative that goes against, let's say, my principles, my values, and I'm still driving towards that woman to pursue something, likely the womb, that means my manhood is centered on that womb rather than what's greater than me. You see what I'm saying? So even still in that sense, it wouldn't make it. It doesn't dial in. It doesn't make sense, because it would require me to value her womb in some sense if every other aspect about her goes against my character.
But that's most women. A lot of women are not looking for this depth that you're talking about. They should, but they don't. And that's why men don't follow that depth, because that's not required. No woman has ever asked me about what I like to read. What's my views on this and what's my views on that? I ask those questions. So if they're not asking those questions, it's because that's not what they're looking for. They're not looking for what you're talking about. Because if they would get that. They're looking for provision, financial provision, and attention. You don't have to have depth, intellectual energy, or any type of Renaissance man perspectives to fulfill the average woman today. But they're gonna go through something later and they're gonna realize I should have asked you that question. I should have found out if you have that. But in the beginning, on the very surface level, most women would rather a provider than a thinker. They want a thinker when they need it. Later on, when they realize, oh, I should have asked that question. But in courtship, bro, they're not looking for that type of depth that you're talking about. They should, but they're not. And that's why men are saying, let me get to the money, because that's what they want. Back in the day, men were very studious because our women wanted that. They appreciated that. They don't appreciate that no more. So men do what they do. Now, I will give you this. I do believe that men should do that despite what women want. And I will agree with you on that perspective, that that's when the true leadership comes, is when you're being the man despite what she appropriates as a man. Because the men will say, well, my mother said, or this girl said, I should have this and that. But that don't mean that's what a man is. Now, that's what I will agree with you at. Too many men listen to what women say they want instead of being the man that they should be.
Which brings up perception.
That takes a level of maturity. That takes a level of willing to walk aloneness, for lack of a better word, that most people don't have, Terrence. I could tell you're a man that's not going to follow the crowd. So a woman will get with you and realize what they've been missing, and you're going to show them what they should look for. But when they met, I'm pretty sure most women you met didn't even realize the value you had until you showed them how valuable it was, right?
Rightfully so.
So they wasn't even looking for what you saw. They didn't even know what you had was valuable. You had to show them it was valuable. And you had to show them, like, baby, I'm not this guy. You think this is what all you need, but I got more than what you think you want. You had to break them into that shit. But you're a special guy. Most men are not going to do that shit. That's why we both got to grow up. But we can't save women from their own actions out their own mouths, just like they couldn't save us from our own actions out our own mouths. This is their time. Just like our time was the 80s, the 70s, even it's still our time. It's always our time. But they have to deal with the collateral damage of their social group just like we did. And I think once we get through the storm that they into, maybe we'll get to a greater understanding. But right now, we got to ride this shit out. And like I said, every brother is not astute like us. They're going to follow what they think women want because that's what women say they want. But me and you are smart enough to know that what women think they want and what they actually need is two different things. But you have to be a learned man and a mature man and a man that's willing to walk alone to do that. You have to be a very secure man. And me and you both know that a lot of men are insecure.
And I think that's another ailment. A
lot of dudes is afraid to walk alone. They need the validation of women and men to live. I don't give a fuck. I've been laughed at on panels because I offered books. I said, yo, dudes laughed at me and said, yo, why we need to learn our history? They were laughing. Most men can't deal with that type of ridicule. They want to fit in. And when you want to fit in, you're going to follow what women say they want just to realize they never needed that at all. But you got to be a certain type of man to take that approach. But any last statements from either one of y'all? I appreciate y'all contribute to the show. I like the perspective, Terrence. I respect it.
Just peeling back everything. Money isn't everything. You know, we really need to just focus on becoming better women and men at the heart of everything. And then we can be more compatible, you know, intellectually, you know, spiritually, which those things are the things that get us through the tough times, and some money sometimes too, if you know how to work it. But I do appreciate it, and just highlighting, you know, the nature of women. You know, once we get certain things, maybe we don't know how to deal with power and how it makes us masculine in some senses. And so just something so simple as a woman being a woman and, you know, cooking food, that's what men want. You know what I'm saying? Just something simple, not your money and whatever you know, are putting out there above everything. Like just me and you, intimacy, and in your naturalness and my naturalness as a man and a woman. And I think if we focus on that, and I think we'll be in a much better place than this division.
Absolutely. But like I said, T, I feel what you're saying. I think I could do another show, and I think you'll be a great addition to that. Where we could talk about how what men need to do despite what men need to offer despite what women claim they want. But to take a certain man to see past it's like when you got a child. They going, Daddy, I want candy. Yeah, I know you want it, but I know what you need. A lot of men are not strong enough to stand on what women need at the expense of losing access to their body in the moment. But you's not like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like that. But we're the minority, brother.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, but I'm not into telling people what they need, right? I'm into just showing up how I am and who I am. And
I mean, but that's still that's still showing them what they, because in other words, if you come to a woman and you come the right way and she say, Terrence, I need you to pay all my bills. I need you to be a big time man. I need you to pay all this money. Are you going to be that person? Do you think that's conducive for her to be a better woman? Is for you to just make it rain on her?
No.
So isn't there certain qualities you know that whether a woman acknowledges or not, that you feel like she may need, that you may be able to provide, whether it be some enlightenment, whether it be some spiritual nourishment? You don't think there's things that a woman may need that she don't know she need that you can offer?
Well, I definitely think there's guidance, right, that could be provided. But as far as a need, something that's required for life to be sustained, you know what I'm saying, that comes instinctually. But if guidance is asked for, you know what I'm saying, or if we're dealing with each other on that level and we're having those conversations, absolutely, I could provide some guidance if that's what's wanted, or give
I think women,
you know what I'm saying, my experience, then absolutely.
I think people need guidance though. I think that's a need.
I mean, can I jump in? That's
go ahead, Sean. We about to wrap it up after this. Go ahead.
All leaders that you described earlier tell people what they need. It's not about, and they can tell them through their, like you described, through their actions. They can tell them directly. But if there's nobody telling you what you need, then there are no needs for leaders. Help me understand, what's the point of a leader if you're not providing the guidance, the necessities of what they need to be guided with? That goes for religion. That goes in any place that successfully has been led.
That's a fact. And with that being said, I appreciate y'all for pulling up. Thank you to everybody that pulled up. Sean, you know you always invited. Stephanie, you already know what time it is.
One last
Terrence,
thing.
welcome. Thanks for contributing to the channel.
One last thing before I leave.
Go ahead,
Terrence, your point of view is very valid. Men need to stand up and be better leaders and be more responsible. That book that you said, that was for that time. But yes, you shift the responsibility, or you shift the blame if the blame is shifted. And you got to be able to address it and hold those people who shifted accountable for their shift and shift them back towards what's necessary for us to have success. So your point of view as far as men need to stand up a little bit better, I agree wholeheartedly. That's what I was describing earlier. And that's what I think that you was leaning towards, is that we need to be better leaders. But part of being a leader is like Illa said, if your child is doing something wrong, you tell them what they need. You tell them you don't need that candy. And if we can't step up and tell them what's necessary when it's necessary, then we ain't great leaders.
Right. And give me about another minute, Illa. I appreciate it if possible.
Say that again, bro.
All right, cool. So on that point, Sean, it's not necessarily placing blame or anything like that, right? It's okay, here's the end result, and this is what we're looking to achieve. These are the strengths, these are the qualities that are required. And operating towards that goal right? If the principles are being crossed that were used to establish this relationship, if those are crossed, then it's not necessarily I'm going to control, I'm going to tell you to do this. No. The biggest value add to anybody in my perspective, whether anybody's coming into a relationship, is that being in the relationship. So the biggest impact is loss. If I remove myself, then that's the hit. If somebody else removes themselves, then that's the hit. No controlling narratives, right? And that's another thing that, anyways, I'm not gonna go into. Yeah.
I just feel like black men are the only men on the planet that has to negotiate with their women. Not saying you should smack them around and tell them what it is, but you are the person that has to die. The person that has to sacrifice the most should explain the least. And the fact that men feel like they got to explain every little notion when they the ones that have to die, to me, is showing that we have been broken by our women. Because nobody else does that. We only ones that have to die for the people that have to negotiate how I'm going to lead you. Other men say, listen, this is what it is. You're going to get with it, or you're not going to be a part of this family. They will, like in the Asian community, they will excommunicate you from the family if you do something that go against the grain. They're not asking you nothing. You got to change your name and get the fuck out of here. But black men, because black women have been running the show for the last 30 years, that we approach how to deal with them from their perspective. When they prove to you every day that what they say they want and what they actually want is never the same thing. I've seen more men get more respect from telling women what it is than trying to negotiate with them. I see most men that try to negotiate with them. Not saying I'm gonna beat the shit out you. You're saying, hey, this is how I get down. This is how I'm moving. If you don't like it, then you can just deal with somebody else. I see way more men get respect from that scenario than this. What do you think? And it's like a lot of women, man, they're not even into the things we into. Women don't really. A lot of women will read, but that's not their. They're not. A woman is not going to read a bunch of deep ass history books. Some women do that, but more than likely, they're not going to go to the depths of information that a man will. So why am I negotiating with someone who's not trying to go where I'm trying to go intellectually? See, we get fooled because they get degrees and they go to school. We equate that with the thirst for knowledge, and it's not so. They go to school to make money, to say they make more money than you. That doesn't equate to having social intelligence. That doesn't equate to having a true curiosity for the world. That just means you want to make money real bad. So I think all these accomplishments that women has made scholastically in the boardroom has tricked men to think that they're deeper than they really are. A lot of women go to school, like I just showed you. A woman just graduated. She went to Florida A&M, all black, and not to say all women. It's not all women. It's just a lot of them. She went to an all black college. Before she can walk off the campus, to show you that they go to school. See, some people go to school. A lot of women go to school to further validate what they're not going to do. I got my degree. I ain't working. I ain't listening to no man. That degree makes them harder to lead. It doesn't make them better to lead. So before this woman even walked off the campus, this is what she did to celebrate So education doesn't equate to leadership or an appreciation for depth. But men have been tricked that it is. So what I'm saying is, if we're going to talk this leadership shit, you got to lead, and either they're going to follow or not. It can't keep being a negotiation process, because that's not what leaders do. You either follow or you leave. So that's my definition of leadership. You don't have to agree with yours. You don't have to agree with Sean's. You don't have to agree with Stephanie. But I think at some point, the fact that we got to keep negotiating with somebody who has shown that they're not really trying to be on a level of intelligence and depth that we are, their depth goes as far as economics are concerned. But you can be very wealthy and still be socially ignorant to the world. So I think we let them getting degrees and making more money trick us to thinking that they're deeper than they really are. But I digress. To each his own. I'm not here to tell people what to do. This is my opinion, my thoughts, my observation. I love Black women. I think they're beautiful, but I don't know if they're the easiest to lead today. I think that the advances in economics has led them to take themselves more highly than they ought to think. And I think that making more money has tricked them and tricked us to thinking that they're eye to eye with us, and they're not. And even today, they're not making more money than Black men, even right now. So I think all that need to get killed. They're not making more money than brothers. Getting a degree does not mean you make more money. I know men with CDLs that make more money than women with degrees. Not all of them, but a lot. So that conversation about who make money, that's only gassing women up to not listen to men. It's not us keep telling them that. It's not going to make them more conducive to what we got to do. That's why we feel like we got to ask them and beg them, would you listen? I got a suggestion. No, leadership is power. Leadership is this is what we're doing. You coming with it or you not. That's leadership. All that other shit, I don't think it's gonna get us nowhere. You know what I'm saying? This country fought for 2% tax. They didn't ask for shit. We negotiating with women after they railroading dudes, getting them fired, calling the police, putting you on child support, and we still trying to negotiate? Okay. To each his own. But like I said, I appreciate all y'all for pulling up. I'm about to get the benediction. Man. Peace to all y'all. Appreciate you, Terrence. Appreciate you, Wife School. Sean. You already know what it is, big homie. Love you, bro. Thank all of y'all for pulling up. I see Mr. Bracey made an appearance. I don't know what he's doing over here. But all my moderators, I don't know if y'all got I don't know who this star child woman is, but listen here. I'm not no woman's nightmare. I'm probably your nightmare because you're probably a woman that wants your ass kissed. I'm not. Look what you're talking about. Kamala is the leader. Like, yeah. Get her the fuck out of here. We don't need no goofy people up in here. I'm not with none of that. If you don't agree with what I'm talking about, if you don't like what I'm talking about, there's plenty of channels that'll kiss your behind, that'll tell you the queen and mother goddess of the planet. Go to them channels. Please let them gas you up. I'm not kissing men's ass. I'm not kissing women's ass. I'm going to call it a spade a spade. Every show would not be about Black women. Every show would not be about Black men. Every show would not be about dating. This show happens to be talking about a certain level of hypocrisy that I've seen in sisters and how they pick and choose when to call certain things out and when they don't. That's it. That's all. Peace and love to everybody that supported the channel. Shout out to Tay4L. Shout out to Lucky Marie for pulling up. Shout out to Pisces Hayes, Lionel Luther, even the haters. Shout out to all y'all. Thank you for pulling up. It's been another episode of Philosophical Radio. And we out.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The Matrix. Do you want to know what it is?